Let me just check. Testing 1, 2, 3. Do you want to just do a quick intro or?
Are we live?
Yeah.
Oh, hi everyone. Yep, we are live. Yeah, amazing news. The bill has passed the upper house, so we're now straight into the lower house. We weren't anticipating this, but we are here and we're going to be sharing the live stream with you tonight. We've got George from the Adelaide set with us. George, do you want to tell us how you found the night, how you found the rally? I'm going to just start.
No worries, guys. So thank you everyone for joining us today for the live special. We've got Dr. Joanna Howe here. James will be here as well, and Ali is his name?
Yeah, Ali Talbrizi.
Ali Talbrizi, first time we've met, and it should be a historic night. We've already had one historic victory here with the upper house, and now it's going to the lower house. So it's going to be amazing to witness this, and whatever happens tonight, at least we'll get some data and we'll get to know where everyone stands. The most important thing is that someone calls division, so we actually get a recorded Hansard vote, because in South Australian... Oh, actually, wait, let me turn this up.
Have they started?
Yes, but it's no volume. 1 second.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll leave this
All
to
right.
you.
Can people hear us?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, that's good. Hopefully people can hear us. So who is that? I think that's Olivia Savas speaking.
Oh, look, people are
Yep.
commenting already.
Okay, great to have you guys here. So we are still getting the tech stuff working out. We've got Olivia Savas on the screen. Can people hear us? Yeah. Okay, that's good. All right, we're just fixing the live stream. Who is that? I think that's Olivia Savas speaking. Yeah. Okay, great to have you guys here. So we are still getting the tech stuff working out. We've got Olivia Savas on the screen. So can people at home hear Olivia more?
We're
just fixing the live stream.
Why
Okay.
can't I hear anything?
Okay, great to have you guys here. So we are still getting the tech stuff working out. We've got Olivia Savas on the screen. So can people at home hear Olivia more? Just fixing the live stream. Okay. Okay, great to have you guys here. So we are still getting the tech stuff working out. I feel awkward just listening to myself there. So I can see Olivia is speaking and the bells have rung. So I think they're obviously keen to get this debate started. It'll be interesting to see how many people speak tonight. I imagine that most of the MPs who are living in marginal seats will find this a very stressful occasion, because the community supports banning late-term abortion, and pro-abortion Labor MPs are going to find that tough. How are we going?
Just getting up.
Yeah, okay.
Try a different browser.
All right. Are we still live?
Yeah, still
Okay.
live.
Should
We're
I-
live now.
So we're live, people can hear us.
Commenting. If you
Okay.
wanna look,
I'll have a
the
look at all the
comments.
comments that are
You can
coming
respond to
through.
people if you want.
Okay. Yep. No.
There we go.
Okay, I think we've got Olivia now coming through. So those of you guys who don't know Olivia Savas, she's a Labor MP in a seat where the previous Liberal MP voted for abortion up to birth. He was one of only 4 Liberal MPs who voted for abortion up to birth in 2021. Olivia is very aware of that, because that Liberal guy got booted out. So my anticipation tonight is that Olivia Savas will vote for our bill. She's aware that her electorate is pro-life. I've actually met with her previously. I think she will vote for the bill. That's my feeling.
To support seniors. One of the things that we committed to in the lead up to the 2022 election was, of course,
I don't think that she's speaking about the bill.
free public transport.
Yeah, she's talking about something
And
else.
the extension of eligibility
She's talking about
for
eating
seniors
scones.
class
Okay, so
does,
she's not
of course,
talking about the bill.
ensure
So guys,
more people can
maybe we should
access public
just give you an
transport
update
for
then
free,
on where things
something
are
that
at.
we're
So
all
tonight
very
in the upper
excited about.
house,
One of the other
we
things that
won 11 votes
residents
to
in my
10.
community have been
An amendment
pleased
was
about in
made.
that space
That
is,
was
of course,
disappointing to me. I
the
didn't
fuel
want that amendment to go
concessions
up.
that the government
It was an
have
amendment to
partnered
say
with,
that it's
petrol stations to
you
make
can
a
still kill
concession
babies
for
who
seniors.
have a condition
And of
incompatible with
course,
life.
Okay.
That's barbaric.
huge
The whole
commitment,
process of feticide is
with
barbaric.
respect to
I mean,
stamp
that changed
duty
your mind,
for
didn't it, George, on abortion when you
downsizers.
learned about it?
Well, yeah,
After
that was
we
the
made
big
the
thing for me, was
announcement,
discovering that
about
the child
our
is
stamp
having to
duty
deal with a
for
potassium shot to the
downsizers.
heart without
Happened
eating
to be the
painkillers.
next
Yeah.
day that I had
And,
a
they
seniors
treat
forum
animals,
in my
like literal
electorate.
animals, better than
I'm
that.
very proud to
No
host a
painkillers, no
seniors
nothing.
forum
So
twice a year
a child
for
is
the community
hearing
at large in
voices
my
and
electorate,
sucking
but
their thumb
also
at 18
on
weeks old.
site,
So
at
to think that a
villages in my
25-week plus
electorate
baby
throughout the
is
year as well.
feeling an entire
This is a
needle
really
puncturing their body,
important
and
way for
then
me to engage
that
with
pain, that
seniors
is
in my
like
community.
it's unsufferable
Yeah.
to
And
think
it's
about.
something
It's
they
actually
love.
disgusting.
Yeah.
Every time
And we
a
should all be
seniors
ashamed as
forum is
Australians
Yeah.
what's
over,
happening here.
somebody
I think
emails,
that
or we have lots of letters, or
we're
we have lots of phone
starting to
calls
cut through with
asking
that
when
message.
the
So we
next
came
one
out
will
with this
be.
banner yesterday,
And
ban
it was
feticide.
at
Yep.
that seniors
And I know
forum
when I
that
first
Premier
started
came
doing
along
this, I
to,
wanted to run
also
a
hosted
petition
by the
ban
members of
feticide,
Morialta,
and in fact I did,
that
but
we were
nobody
able to
signed it. And
announce,
the feedback I
just
got
the
was
day
no one
after
knew
it
what
had
feticide
come
was.
out, that
But I
we
think
would
that
make
after
a
doing this for
commitment,
3 years straight in
of
South Australia,
$77
every
million
year talking
over
about that
5 years
injection,
to provide
people are starting
stamp duty
to
relief
learn
for
what
seniors
feticide is.
aged
And so
60
I
and
think
over
now we're going to be
buying a
having
new
a community-based
home valued up
campaign,
to
and
$2
it is
million
going
who
to
are
make a
selling
difference.
their family home.
So we're not
This has
sure
been
exactly
something
when
that
this
has been
vote will
incredibly
start
well
tonight, but it
received by
is
my
starting.
community and
And
something that
my
I
husband's
have
just walked through
raised
the
in the
door.
past,
So
because it has been
yeah,
raised with
I
me
can
when
see.
I've been out
I
in the
might read some of the
doors
messages
and
in the
having
chat.
community
Okay,
engagement,
Aussie J said we
with
can't
my
hear
local
you
residents.
properly. I
And
don't
the
know
thing
if
that was
that's
really interesting to me
Is that an
was
old message,
actually
maybe?
my mum.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
might be kind
My
of yes.
mum, who
Actually,
is in
guys in the
her
chat,
late
if you can
50s,
hear
I'm
us
really showing
and you
my
can hear
own
the
age to
volume
think that.
well, can you
Late
please just
50s
comment below so we
and
know?
contacted
And
me
Susan
about
Tibbs, I
that
see your message.
and said, this is really exciting.
Okay, so somebody
After
said
the
Joe
breakdown
watched
of
the
a marriage,
stream or
she may
mute the
actually
stream.
now be able
Yeah,
to
okay,
buy
so-
a
okay.
home
Maybe we
of
should
her
mute
own.
So what they
Olivia,
want
'cause
is
sell
they
her
want us to
family
mute every
home
time
that is
we are talking. Okay.
Okay.
And then anytime we think it's relevant.
Now, can you hear me properly?
Yeah. that
Can
should
you
be-
hear me better now, guys?
Yeah. Let's have a listen. We can actually hear ourselves.
Okay, so somebody said Joe watched the stream. Is there a bit of a delay?
There's a low. It's called low latency.
Okay.
Just something goes wrong, we can stop. it.
And people can hear?
Yep.
Okay, can I read this comment and respond to it then? Susan Tibbs has written, I listened to Pauline Hanson at a press conference today. Dr. Joe, she's forgotten all that you told her, especially about having a C-section instead of aborting late term. So I think I watched Pauline at the press conference. It was a busy day, just the fact that we were doing this bill and the amendments and all of that. But my feeling on Pauline is... she's on a journey with abortion. She's not against all abortion, and indeed she said that at the press conference, but she did say that she's against abortion after 20 weeks today at the press conference. Her party policy is against second and third trimester abortion.
Yep.
Look, it's a step, and tonight what we've seen is every single One Nation MP has voted for our bill to save babies. No other major party has that record. There were Liberal MPs that voted for abortion up to birth tonight, and of course there were lots of Labor MPs that voted for abortion up to birth in the upper house. And we're going to see that play out in the lower house too in a minute. So, you know, I think as much as like Pauline Hanson and One Nation aren't perfect, they're definitely a step in the right direction. And without them, we would not have made history in the upper house tonight.
Yeah, and just remember, guys, it takes little 1% wins to gain major victories. All of us want big wins quickly, but the reality is it's not how the world works, unfortunately, and it's not how Parliament definitely works. If we can get small little victories, and it's taken us 3 to 4 years to get to this point. As long as we stay resilient, we stay strong, we never give up, then we'll get the results we want, even if it takes us as long, however long it takes.
Okay, I have a trivial question. Can everyone see that I'm not wearing shoes? Can you see that, guys? I have taken them off because we were standing at a rally.
So I'll go full screen.
Yeah, go full screen. You can't. You just can't. That's good. I shouldn't have told everybody.
No.
Okay, I love this comment by Cassie Amanda 8462. Lots of politicians will lose their jobs once we get the list of who voted against and who wasn't there. So I agree. We are definitely going to hold these people to account. Malinauskas has done what he thought was a smart move by forcing this through the lower house. I actually think it's going to play in our favour in the long term because we now are going to know who to campaign against. And I'm actually really excited about this because we've had our breakthrough and now we're going to find out who are the people that are into third trimester abortion. And you've got to be a sicko to be into that.
Exactly. And there's a few naughty other tricks that these guys could do. For example, in South Australia Parliament, we're one of the only places where if you don't call for division, it doesn't have to go on Hansard record of what the parties actually voted for. So that's unforeseen in Australian history. Most parliaments always have a record on Hansard of how they voted. So one little trick they could play is no one calls for division. So we've got to make sure everyone understands that someone, at least one person in the minority parties has to call for division, and then we'll get an actual official Hansard record of the vote.
Now, there's been a lot of discussion online about Jason Virgo. Do you remember him, George? He's the One Nation MP who was formerly of the Sex Party and...
famous for his speech.
Yeah, what did he say? What did he say in his speech?
Muslim lover. It was very...
Yeah.
It was very different to what people were expecting of someone like Jason. But to be honest with Jason, he's a man of his actions. And, even in the yes or no vote for the referendum we had with the, same-sex marriage, it was one of the highest voted no places in South Australia.
Where was this?
In his election.
Oh, okay.
So it's,
well, anyway, I want to tell you guys a backstory because Beck and Chantel from One Nation have been telling me Jason is a great guy,
Yep.
and I believe it.
Yeah.
I think he's put his hand up to run for One Nation. He clearly cares about the country.
Yep.
Anyway, he called me today and said, I'll be voting for this bill tonight.
Wow.
It's our party position. We've locked it down. We are all supporting this as a team. And I think
And it
that's
sounded genuine to you? Like,
Oh, no, 100%
great.
genuine.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and we'll get a coffee together. So Jason, I'm really proud of him. He's
cool.
a legend. Great. And really great that he just called me and said that. And I think that's where it needs to be. I had an argument with Matt Canavan that people can check out on it's
I
on my
haven't seen
YouTube.
that one, actually.
You haven't
What'd you
seen
do?
it?
What'd you-
Okay, so Matt Canavan and I had an argument at the Farah by-election Candidates Forum on Abortion. That's the first ever Candidates Forum on Abortion I think that we've had. And Matt... I challenged Matt about the fact that the 4 Nationals in the upper house, they keep voting for things like abortion up to birth. They've sided with the Greens on abortion. They also vote for, men to be able to change their sex on their birth certificate and
Yep.
identify as a woman. So, they're radical leftists.
Yeah.
And so I challenged Matt on the fact that he says he's the most pro-life leader of any political party, and yet his party votes for abortion. And so we got into a fight back and forth. And he said, look, it's a conscience vote in our party. And then he said, it's a conscience vote in One Nation. And I said, but the difference, Matt, is that One Nation has a policy position on their website against late-term abortion.
Yep.
And we've seen the first test of that tonight. So
Yeah.
this is the first electoral test of whether One Nation will hold to the policy position, and I've had commitments from all 7 that they're going to get behind the bill.
Yeah, and to be clear, on a moral sense, a conscious vote is kind of just a cop-out, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Oh, yeah.
It's like
yeah.
if you're a party, and this is our troubles when gathering data.
I don't think abortion should be a conscience vote.
No,
I mean,
it's not.
It should be. It's more important than any of the other issues we face. Why is it a conscience vote?
Especially in today's circumstances, we have extinction level rates of birth fertility on top of already massacring 70,000 plus kids a year in our own country. 75 million abortions a year worldwide. It's the World War II levels of death every single year, and people just it's a conscious vote.
Yeah,
it's
I
actually
think people
ridiculous.
are waking up. I've seen Scott Challen and Sam Bamford wake up. So I challenged Scott in our... It's going to sound like I do a lot of challenging because in my interview, I just said I challenged Matt. I challenged Matt, I challenged Scott. I mean, I challenged you back in the day.
We're the king of trolling, yeah.
Yeah,
yeah, we did.
I did. I challenged you on abortion and you came around.
Anti-Tate, abortion, whatever.
Yeah. I am not an Andrew Tate fan.
No, she's not.
No,
I'm not too, to be honest.
Yeah, good.
I like his brother, though. His brother's cool.
Oh, gosh. Let's not even go there. So,
he's a Christian. I have to like.
So, Sam Bamford, Scott Challen. So, Scott Challen, the Australian Lobby Group's got all of these agenda items that they want for our nation. I agree with all of it, but abortion should be in there. Like, we've got to end.
Is it not actually in there?
Look, I'm hoping they're going to add it because
Okay, cool.
I challenged Scott.
If that's the case.
He's become pro-life now. He even came to our last rally. So I think that will happen.
And it makes sense because Scott is a hardcore Christian as well. So.
Yeah, and so for those of you guys who have just joined the live stream, we've got George Mamalis from the Adelaide set, been supporting this work from actually the first year of the Ben Hood bill.
Yeah, 4 years now. Just finding we mean Joanna debating in my grandma's room. In my this little loft.
I remember meeting your grandma.
It was great. She changed my mind on many things that night because I was brought up with the idea that I was in that ancient Greek Spartan mindset, like if the baby isn't ready, the baby isn't ready, and that completely shifted me. Especially when I found out about the potassium being injected straight to the heart without painkillers. I thought, okay, that is very barbaric. And that the fact that Australia is one of the most notorious in the world for that.
Yeah.
So we're leading the charge in the most barbaric practice in probably human history.
So even a child at 37 weeks, which is full term. So my second child, Jesse, who you've met, he was born at 37 weeks, and when I held him in 2012 at Flinders, I like one of the things that went through my mind then was that in 2011, the year before in Victoria, a 37-weeker, the same age as him, little boy.
I'm just laughing. They look at my. They're laughing at my Superman socks.
Oh, Superman socks.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, this is very
I'm
serious.
telling a very serious story,
Yeah, I
and you
know.
guys are laughing at George's Superman stuff. And we've got Ali. You can't see them, but we've got Ali Talbrisi and James Howe over there eating some dumplings, and they're going to join the live stream in a
Well-deserved
minute.
dumplings.
Yeah, they are coming. We're going to have some more people on this couch in a minute.
So, guys, that's 75, by the way, that's 75 million deaths, because people are asking about, they didn't realise World War II levels of death. 75 million, 70 to 75 million deaths a year on abortion
It's
worldwide.
bigger than World War II.
It's yeah.
Yeah, way
well,
bigger.
even the Bolshevik, if you clear the Bolshevik Revolution, it's on par,
Yeah.
or if not worse, every single year.
And it's so barbaric. So the story I was telling you is I held Jessie at 37 weeks, and the year before, a little boy, in Victoria at 37 weeks, perfectly healthy, he was killed for a psychosocial reason, injected in the heart with poison, and then delivered dead.
Wow.
Like, that's just so psychopathic to think about. It breaks your heart. So that's Nat Cook, the speaker.
Let's just quickly check what
We're just
they're-
going to check what's going on, whether...
and for South Australians more generally. I'll use the speech as a way of
No,
talking
this is not a,
about
Nothing
those
else?
No.
things that-
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
I've had a few run-ins with Nat Cook.
yeah,
You know
same.
about those, George?
Yeah, they were great. The best.
I tried to ask her a question and she called the police.
Shit. I remember trying to see a text like, "Do you like this video?" Like, we're like, "Yeah, I like it. It's crazy, but I like it."
So do you want to know an update?
Yeah, what
We have been we've been FOIing the body cam footage from the
yeah.
police from that interaction. So Nat, I went to the
Have you
polling
got the
booth.
footage yet?
Yeah.
Oh, what'd they say?
Yeah. So okay. So
Yeah,
went to the
serious.
just for anyone that doesn't know, went to Nat Cook on the polling booth, tried to ask her a question about why she loves killing babies. She's like, call the police, started screaming. Police come, like, you'd think that they've got real crime to deal with, but they just came, like, squad cars, 2 guys. Anyway, they're wearing body cam footage. They forced me off the site, and because I said, if I don't leave, what will you do? And they said, well, we'll arrest you. So, so anyway, we've now FOI'd it. We think there's a case for them to answer. And you remember the draconian actions of the police in
Yep.
COVID. And
Yep.
look, the police tonight were awesome at the rally. They protected us. They kept us safe.
They stood in the rain like all of
they
us,
stood in
yeah.
the rain. They were great. But it's not okay when the police cross a line that impacts on people's freedoms. Even yesterday, George, when we did the visual protest in front of the Parliament, and we had this artwork of a baby being injected with poison that Elspeth McKellar had made, painted, one of the police officers came and said, look, we've been told by the clerk in the Parliament that you're not allowed to display artwork.
Yeah.
And my husband looked at them and they said, he's like, the other side displays artwork. They hold
all the
posters.
time.
And
they bloody parasail off the bridges.
yeah. If you're on the left, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And so we said, look, that's a free speech thing. And so he went inside, and thankfully we were able to display our artwork.
Yeah.
But so I am thinking about bringing a case against the police because of the Nat Cook violation.
Yep.
We'll have to see where that goes, because I think it is important we don't live in a draconian authoritarian state.
Well-
They've got a job to do, but if I'm just asking a politician a question, I don't think I'm breaking a law.
No, and it's their job as a politician. They're supposed to be leaders. And by the way, we are reading chat, guys. So if you have questions, please ask them. We are reading chat, and we're all laughing, especially how you guys are debating about the Mandalorian stocks would be more elite than the Superman stocks. But guys, let's be real here. The police state situation is a serious concern. We're seeing the under-16s ban, which was a first kind of step towards centralising the messaging across social media, especially for the youth, who are now being all siphoned towards Blue Sky, which is an ultra left-leaning social media page platform that really would support abortion till late term. Now the UK have announced yesterday.
Can I tell you something about Blue
Yeah?
So all the leftist academics that I work with,
They were on the
they're
Blue
on Blue
Sky.
Sky.
Yeah.
And so I get into so much trouble because I speak up for the babies. So I'm a professor at Adelaide, and it's almost impossible to exist. But you've got other academics at the university speaking about, like, killing, they wish the bullet had been
Yeah.
accurate when they went for Trump. And so they're literally calling for his death and his murder.
Yeah.
And they're fine. It's just such a double standard around free speech.
Well, this is the annoyance, because the left have created a situation of a safe space, but a safe space only for them. As soon as you challenge them on their safe space, then their morality becomes subjective, and they don't even care about.
People are asking about James. So Daniel Farrell said, Where's James?
James is to our left, smashing some dumplings.
He is coming. James will come. And when
I've
James
never
comes, we'll get...
Yeah, these dumplings are getting smashed, guys.
Yeah.
Like, he's doing a job, and they smell really good. But so
he's a big guy. You got to feed him.
and he's been working like an animal out there. I've been
James
running
has
around
been working. So those numbers, for those of you who are at the rally, and I can see that in the comments, some of you guys, Bruno said, I was blessed to have participated to the event at the steps of Parliament House. Praise be to God for the outcome. For so many pro-life warriors.
I'm telling you guys, James working so hard. It got to the
Yeah.
point where I was trying to communicate with him and he was just grunting at me because he's just no time for language,
I know.
just action.
He built, so he's a furniture designer and he built this incredible structure to to hold the artwork, and then all of those numbers that you saw on the steps in the rally, James erected all of those as well. So really
and James
incredible.
is a perfectionist. Like, for example, was it yesterday? No, when was the day we came to Parliament? And
The first time?
no, the second time round.
Yesterday.
Yesterday, yesterday,
yesterday.
James was putting up one of the banners and it was the wrong way around. And anyone normally would be like, okay, whatever, we'll just put it up, it's fine. But James like, no, and went to the effort of removing it all and then
know,
restating. I was like, I can't believe it, James. Like, you're a perfectionist. So
I am married to a legit saint.
Yeah.
It is funny because there's this. Have you seen the video? Tommy the Cowboy put up this video of James saying "shut up" to me. So he says in the debate with Sam Bamford, James just says the word "shut up," and Tommy the Cowboy plays it on slow-mo like 3 to 4 times to make it sound like James is this horrible, like, wife-beaten man, when nothing could be further from the truth.
It's funny how Tommy the Cowboy is like having a go at you, or having a go at you guys for saying "shut up," but he's okay with covering women in blankets and putting holes through their eyeballs.
Yeah, he's
like,
become a Muslim. I feel like he must. This is like Islamic propaganda, right?
Well, it's an oxymoron. Because I don't understand. Honestly, I don't really know much about Tommy the Cowboy.
Well, this is the first time he came up on my feed. Was when he went after James for supposedly abusing me. And the annoying thing is I wrote a comment to just say, look, my husband and I have a very robust relationship.
Yeah.
I mean, you're probably going to see us yell at each other on this live stream.
They're artistic. And they're sophisticated and they're also academic all at once. Of course it's going to be. It's not going to be boring. That's for sure.
Exactly. And if you take one little snippet and then put it in slow mo, of course it looks bad. And then I put it in the comments, and then he deleted all of the comments.
And their kids are like real life. Have you guys watched Rugrats growing up? They're like the Rugrats. Like, obviously.
Our kids.
Your kids. Not wearing shoes, getting up to mischief, like doing whatever, climbing walls. Like, it's pretty cool.
I actually just gave them at the end of the rally $120, and I said, okay, each child gets $20.
Yep.
Go get yourself some dinner.
There you go.
Yeah,
See?
and they are currently roaming the streets, but they're very good kids.
Yep.
And the eldest is and the eldest too are very responsible.
Good.
So I think they're now. We're not going home tonight. We've booked a hotel room across the road from the Parliament, and my kids are in the room next door. So they were really excited about this, that we get a night away. And honestly, they were so overjoyed that the bill passed. I actually promised them that this is going to sound crazy.
Yeah.
But I said to them at the start of this journey, like 3 or 4 years ago, when the bill passes, Mummy will take you on a special family holiday.
Nice.
Up to Brisbane where it's warm.
Have they been there before?
Only once for a climbing competition,
Okay,
because they're big avid climbers, and so because it's a big effort for our family. Like you've seen it.
Yeah.
The kids have to kind of come along to all of the letterboxing and the events, and there's a sacrifice for them.
Yeah.
And so I wanted them to also know
But they've got some cool stories to tell when they get older, don't you think?
Yeah, oh, definitely.
That childhood they're having is incredible.
Yeah.
They're going to be absolutely amazing.
Yeah. So they've definitely got stories. When my
Yep.
son was taken around Parliament House in Year 6, the teacher made them write a thank you note to the politicians who took them around, and there were 2 politicians. Now, one of the politicians was a baby killer, Katrine Hildyard. She's one of the chief baby killers, like really aggressively into abortion up to birth. But she does smile. She's very fake. She's actually tried to go to my church.
Really?
Like she tries to go to church at election time. Anyway, my son told his teacher, I can't write her a thank you note because she is into killing babies.
And what did the teacher say to that? Teacher's like, what?
The teacher was like, tell me more.
Well, that's good. That's supportive.
And so then he told her, he said, look, she supports lethal injection potassium chloride into the hearts of children. My mum has interviewed her and she won't even justify her position. She just tries to run away, because that's the thing, they can't justify it. And you see it tonight with Malinauskas shutting down community debate and forcing this through the Lower House. Why is he doing that? He's afraid.
Yeah.
They're afraid of community debate on this. Katrine Hildyard, Nat Cook, they can't answer the question, they run the other way, they call the police. So we've got them on the back foot. And 4 years ago, George, this would have been unthinkable when it passed. In 2021, when abortion up to birth passed, everyone thought, done and dusted, never going to go back to that.
Yeah.
And yet, in 4 short years, we're here.
Yeah, I remember you saying this is historically probably the first true Christian style bill that's actually passed in the history of Australia.
Yeah, well, if you think about it, so limiting prostitution or limiting government-assisted suicide or even restoring parental rights or the trans issue, abortion, nothing has ever passed.
Yep.
Even a single House of Parliament. The left has been dominating since the 1960s,
Yep.
and we've been on the defence. We've passed amendments.
Yep.
Amendments. We've also held things back. So Amanda Conn's Greens abortion bill last year, we gutted it
Yep.
through a campaign. But to actually pass something ourselves and be on the offensive, I want to see this in all walks of life. I want to see this now across the board in all of those issues.
And you guys got to keep in mind, South Australia is notoriously famous politically because it was the first state in the history of this world to legalise females becoming parliamentarians. Did you know that?
Yeah, I did know that.
And
yeah.
that was the first
Yeah.
time in history. So when something happens in South Australia, it is usually a sign that it's going to create a whole effect across the entire world.
Yeah.
So this is actually really,
The
really...
other thing is, George, legal abortion started in South Australia in
Yeah,
the late
yeah,
1960s.
yeah.
So there's
kind of
there's-
coming back now the other way around.
it's our job to end it first. Okay, so somebody infections M2P3V. I always laugh at the handles. He said, "Who are you talking to?" This is George.
Oh, hey guys.
From the Adelaide set. James is coming
Hey,
soon.
Adelaide set, Turning Point.
Yeah. Okay, someone said, Amal said, do we need to do Charlie Kirk style uni debates? Absolutely, we do.
Yeah, we have a young man here. I put his name. He's kind of attempting to do that. I'm currently...
Is that Victor?
Yeah. Is that the one that holds the signs?
Yeah, Victor's doing that on abortion.
And we are working on a Turning Point chapter in the universities, but there are so many barriers they put up for us. So just stay patient. But if you want to get involved, make sure you reach out to Joanna or I, and we can, get that ball rolling a bit more.
I definitely think that's important.
Yeah.
Okay, Aussie J said, I'm still learning about what this means now. Who votes next? Sorry about my ignorance. I get that. I said to James this morning, are people going to understand how huge this victory is? And he said to me, I think people are going to get confused about the houses because people aren't going to... Because I think one of the reasons Peter Malinauskas is this is so that he could say... He could take the victory, because what the news headline will be, not that we passed the first ever pro-life bill in the history of Australia through a House of Parliament. The headline will be the bill got defeated, because I think that's what's going to happen tonight. Malinauskas wouldn't have done this if he wasn't 100% confident on those numbers. So I think the bill is going to get defeated tonight, and that's in the lower house. So for something to become law in Australia, it has to go through both houses of Parliament and get voted on through both houses of Parliament. And it's got through the upper house, so that's 50% of the way there. And in what I had anticipated would happen is that we would win tonight, and then we would campaign in the community, and then we would bring this to a vote in the lower house with Chantel Thomas from One Nation by the end of the year. Now, Malinauskas, I think, was so afraid of us running that campaign that he has forced this vote tonight in the lower house. So the government can do that. They can change standing orders. They've got the numbers. So what he's doing is he's forcing his backbenchers, all his MPs, to stay in the lower house till past midnight, however long it takes. They're going to then debate this bill and then vote on this bill. So that's in the lower house. What I think will happen, unless there's some kind of miracle, is the bill will fail in the lower house. And that's the story the media is going to then report. But it does not take away, for me, from how huge this is. The media always gaslights you.
Yeah.
I don't really care or place much store in what they say, because they have their agenda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the media has become what they claim to hate. They only care about clickbait and rage, and they're kind of like grifters now. So they don't care about the significance of something.
Yeah.
They only care about how many people can we get clicks. So that's trying to outrage everyone.
Yeah.
So that's part of their strategy these days, which is kind of sad. But that's the media landscape, isn't it?
It is, but I think the good news is people aren't listening. How do we know they're not listening? Well, I think it's through the rise of One Nation, because the media keeps hitting Pauline. They keep doing stories about how Sean Black is a rapist and he was working for her. They do stories about, they've been trying to hit her on abortion.
Her daughter now, they had a go at her.
At Lee Hansen,
and it was good seeing Senator Pauline Hanson actually
push back
so hard, because it was very Trumpian, I'll say, of her. But it was really cool, because we haven't seen that in a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, Alex Antic has done stuff like that similar, but Pauline went for them, and it was
my favourite moment in the press conference today. So she spoke at the National Press Club, first time in 30 years.
I don't think it's her first time ever.
First time ever, sorry.
Yeah.
Never been asked.
Yeah.
And an SBS journalist asked her about abortion, and
Yep.
Pauline shot her down. But then she asked the journalist said, your policy is to abolish SBS, and, we translate things into 60 different
Yeah.
languages. And Pauline just said, I understand why you are angry at me, because you'll be out of a job if I win the next
Yeah.
election.
No, she said, I'm going to take your job away.
I'm going to take your job
Which is,
away.
like, very Trump-y thing to say.
Yeah, and everybody in the press corps laughed like a lot. And then she said, and Pauline said, we don't need SBS, we've got Sky.
Yeah.
And I heard the Sky guys cheering.
Yeah.
That was funny. So, I mean, I think what is good is people are starting to fight back and hit back at the mainstream media.
Yep.
Most of the Liberals, other than Antic, have all been too scared of what the media will say.
Yep.
And you're seeing real people in One Nation just speak up. So tonight at the rally, Beck Hewitt spoke.
Yep.
She's not a career politician, never intended to go into politics, and yet she just felt that deep desire and calling to make the country better.
Yeah.
And tonight she just spoke about her faith. She's a
Yeah.
Christian, and she spoke about that.
And that's when I did that interview, I did that exclusive with most of the One Nation members from South Australia. Chantel and Rebecca, the first thing they started talking about was God, Christianity
Yeah.
straight away. And
Wow.
that shook me. I was like, whoa,
Yeah.
that's weird. Like, we've never had that before.
Yeah.
I've done heaps of interviews and no politician brings
Yeah.
up Christianity like
Yeah.
that. So, and even when they came to your first initial, when the police tried to shut us down, remember
Yeah.
that?
No, what are you talking about?
When the police came to take the banners down?
Oh, yes, when we announced the bill.
Yeah, they came out
So-
the front.
Yeah.
And I've never seen, like, they were staying there. So,
That was amazing, wasn't
like,
it?
courage. Apparently they were getting spat on and stuff.
Yeah, so that is true. So let's just recap. So when this bill got introduced, that was actually, I think it was May 20. And one of the game changers with this campaign is we've commissioned artwork from Elspeth McKellar. And my husband had this idea, very ambitious, to install them in front of the Parliament. Because the Parliament is the place where laws are made. And we wanted to have this trilogy of paintings installed there to look like it was like an official endorsement of the Parliament, which should be standing up for the vulnerable.
Yeah.
And the police didn't like it.
No.
In the end, though, I would say it all worked out very well. Because
it worked out fine.
because even though the police didn't like it and they made us put the pictures up in a different way, there was a lot of drama, and the drama attracted the media, and we got this campaign off to an excellent start. And Beck and Chantel came out from One Nation. Actually, David Payton came out too. I feel bad because I didn't talk to him, but he talked to my husband James.
Oh, okay.
And David's a legend. And so they came out, and of course the media jumped all over Beck and Chantel.
Yeah.
But that was really good to see.
They were brave, and even
Yeah.
when they were being asked interview-wise, they stood their ground. They didn't back away. And Rebecca brought up Christianity again, which was kind of cool because we're not seeing that. And I honestly believe that secularism is the most disastrous thing to ever happen to Australia's economy and Australia's nation as a nation. Secularism was sold to us in the 1960s as this new advancement in Australia's economy, and if anything, all it's done is ripped apart family unions. It's lowered our birth fertility rates to astronomical levels. And the thing is, about all economic models, they all suggest that there will always be a stock of humanity available.
Yeah.
They never account for fertility as a factor in their economic models. Now that needs to change. There needs to be the economic models that do make it an important point of family and embracing motherhood.
Yeah.
And in orthodoxy, the symbol of being a woman, a sacred woman, is Mother Mary holding her child. Mother Mary's not alone. She's holding.
Orthodox, aren't you,
Yeah,
George? Yeah.
So that image is quite powerful because it shows that to be a woman in its most sacred, most holy, divine place is to hold that child.
Yeah.
And that's been lost
Yeah.
for 40, 50 years now.
Well, I think we're going to see a return to these values.
Yeah.
I think something is changing. I've got this in the comments from Richard Fowler. Mally, all about live golf, but not about life. It's a good point. I think
Yeah.
he's going to increasingly be exposed as a phony. He wasn't exposed when the Liberals were the opposition.
Can I quickly just
but
see this, see what he
now,
says?
I think that's different. Tom Coots is now speaking.
Document the government can deliver at any time, and I thank members, and I look forward to the estimates.
I don't think he's talking about abortion.
No, not yet.
I don't think it started.
Members of the crossbench.
And just to finish on that point, by the way,
The gov-
there needs to be incentive in the economy now to incentivize mothers and fathers to start younger. We should be having families in our early 20s. Today, we're encouraging women and men to have their kids in their 30s. Science shows that the longer you leave your childbearing abilities, the harder it gets.
Yeah.
Fertility is extremely hard. It takes most people an average year and a half to even have their first child, let alone the ideas of IVF and the expensive nature of IVF. So you know.
Do you want to know why and when we started?
Why is that?
Okay, so I was at Oxford. I'd married James.
How old were you when you went to Oxford, by the way?
I think I was 26.
Okay, 26, yeah.
And I also got married that year.
Yeah.
And anyway,
year.
we decided
Married and also-
that we were going to wait about 12 months before we had our first child. And I went to a seminar called Books and Babies that they were running, and there was an senior academic and a gynecologist on the panel, and the room was full. And the topic was about like when to have children if you want to have an academic career, and the academic was speaking about the fact that you should not have babies until you're at least 35 and you've got tenure and you've got career security, because it's so hard to climb in academia now. It's very competitive. And the gynecologist jumped out of a chair and said, no, that's a terrible advice to give these young women. They should be having babies now, as early as they can. That's how their bodies were made. She said, I've seen so many women who then try to do IVF in their 40s and they can't, and the pain of that and the heartbreak. I mean, as
Also,
well, it's killing babies. Yeah.
Well, and just the stress. It's 60,000 calories on average to have a child from which is the equivalent of walking from Adelaide to around Mount Gambier in calorie output. So
Did you say 60,000
calories.
I was going to say 60 is not much.
60,000 calories
Yes.
is the average calorie.
Yeah.
So that level of stress at an older age also is very damaging to the body and reduces the amount of children you can have.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still trying to convince James that we could have a baby now in my 40s.
You're like cheaper by the dozen.
Yeah, don't
she
try.
Got too much cheaper by the dozen.
Don't try and dissuade
Brady
me
Bunch.
by that stupid calorie count.
So she's a marathon runner, but in a different way.
Look, I still haven't been yet to persuade the husband that we should go back again. But and it has been so hectic lately that maybe who even knows? Yeah, and we did have a miscarriage earlier in the year. So, but at that seminar, something's happening. Okay, all right.
Okay, let's go.
I think we're on. Let's see.
Mr. Hanlon, Mr. Hughes, Mr. Telfer, and Mr. Batty.
Is the motion seconded? I put the question. Those in favour say aye. Those opposed say no. I call it for the ayes. Messages?
Okay, so this is a message. What's going to happen is a message is going to come down from the Legislative Council.
The Legislative Council has passed the bill transmitted herewith titled An Act to
Ally,
Amend
you
the
might want to video
Evidence
just
Act
these moments, just a few of them.
which desires the concurrence of the House Assembly.
She thought it was something that might be.
No, it is. This is it. Yeah. Was that the termination bill?
Taken into consideration next day's sitting. Is that seconded? Those in favour say aye. Opposed say no. It's carried. Message number 18 from the Legislative Council to the House Assembly. The Legislative Council has passed the bill transmitted herewith titled An Act to Amend the Supreme Court Act.
Okay, no, they're just going through. Do you want to pause them for a sec? Mute them for a second. Okay, so people won't understand what this is about. When a bill passes the upper house, there's this formal system where a message gets sent to the lower house, and the lower house, it's read, we're giving you a message, like we're passing a note. And then there's a decision in the lower house of when that bill will be debated. Now, the ordinary practice is that the MP who's going to introduce it in the lower house announces a time in the future. It's extraordinary that tonight this message is going to result in the debate being tonight. So she's reading the messages. This is about to happen. Let's go back. Yeah.
From the Legislative Council to the House of Assembly. The Legislative Council has passed the bill transmitted titled An Act to Amend the Termination of
This is it.
Pregnancy Act
This is it.
2021,
Yeah.
to which it desires the concurrence of the House of Assembly. Regina, President.
All right, this is it.
Without this, the standing orders be so far suspended as to enable termination of pregnancy restrictional termination up to 24 weeks of 6 days minimum, being a private member will take precedence of the government business forthwith to
Wow.
pass all remaining stages without delay.
There being a present and absolute majority, I accept the motion. Is the motion seconded? Does anyone wish to speak to the motion? Nobody speaking to the motion. So the question for the... I call the member for Naranga.
Okay, is that Chantal?
Yeah.
You're speaking to the motion. speak to your motion? Oh, that's okay. Okay, carry on, continue.
So this is a motion about whether they're going to vote and debate this bill
Yeah.
tonight. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have it. Yes. The question for the chair is the motion to suspend standing orders be agreed to. Those in favour say aye. Those opposed say no. I call it for the ayes.
Okay, so that means the vote and debate is happening.
Before
Yep.
I call you, and this is the time to offer your speech, I would like to welcome members to...
Okay, this is the bit where she tells the people in the gallery they don't
And thank you for your
don't get too
attendance
heated.
and your interest
All right, so it's
in the
on.
debate.
Yep.
I would like to remind people that this debate will be conducted in a respectful and
I might move this
democratic way. All gallery occupants are reminded, not the small child, however, he can do what he likes. All gallery
Isn't that ironic, Nat Cook talking about a small child and yet
that they are
into killing
observers
babies right up to
only
birth?
and
Yeah,
must
fake
remain
Labor politician right
silent
there.
at all times. Any audible noise, interruption, demonstration, or disorderly conduct.
Okay, can we,
will not be
pause her, like,
tolerated
make her mute, and I'll just
will
explain to
result
people
in
what's going on.
immediate removal
second.
from the galleries and may result in being brought before the bar.
So,
I remind you
me
that
just
filming
do
and
that.
photography without permission is also not.
okay, so what is happening? Can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so what's happening is the messages have come through from the upper house to the lower house. It's like a tradition. It's a procedural thing that they do. And normally, when the bill has passed in the upper house, the message comes through, and then in the lower house, they agree to defer it to a later date. That's not happened tonight. What you've seen is an extraordinary disruption of the standing orders, and the bill is getting debated and voted on now. Nat Cook is the speaker. She's very pro-abortion, and Chantel Thomas is about to give her speech in support of this bill. So we might listen to Chantel. I've
Yeah,
had a chat with her
hope so. That'd be
today.
great.
Let's see what's going on now. Let's unmute it.
Madam Speaker, I rise to introduce this bill which has been received from the other place. From the outset, I acknowledge that matters concerning abortion are among the most sensitive, complex and deeply personal issues considered by this Parliament. Members across the chamber bring into this debate sincerely held views shaped by their own experiences, ethical reasoning, medical advice and ideally the perspectives of the communities they represent. This is a question in which compassion, medical judgment and societal values intersect in a confronting way. It is therefore essential that this debate is conducted with respect, care and appreciation for the views that exist outside this chamber and within it. Madam Speaker, this bill does not seek to revisit or overturn the broader legislative framework established by this Parliament through the Termination of Pregnancy Act 2021. Rather, the purpose of this bill is more specific and targeted, proposing amendments relating to terminations that occur at very late stages of pregnancy. It distinguishes between pregnancies after 22 weeks and 6 days and up to 24 weeks and 6 days, and pregnancies beyond 24 weeks and 6 days. For terminations between 22 weeks and 6 days and 24 weeks and 6 days, the existing requirements continue to apply with clarifications to ensure that the provisions are explicit and consistent within the Act. However, for terminations occurring after 24 weeks and 6 days, the period of viability, the bill proposes a more stringent threshold. Under the proposed new section 6A, a termination at that stage may only occur where the medical practitioner considers in all circumstances that the termination is necessary to save the life of the pregnant woman, or that fetal abnormalities identified will be incompatible with survival after birth. A second medical practitioner is consulted and forms that view, and the procedure is performed at a prescribed hospital. These provisions are intended to ensure that decisions of this gravity are subject to multiple layers of clinical assessment and occur within an appropriately equipped medical setting. The bill also clarifies that in forming their opinion, medical practitioners must consider all relevant medical circumstances and adhere to applicable professional standards and guidelines. Importantly, Madam Speaker, the bill recognises that medical emergencies do arise It therefore preserves the ability for a practitioner to act urgently, without all procedural requirements, where it is necessary in an emergency context. Madam Speaker, this bill is important because there is no upper gestational limit on the abortion in South Australia. This means that there is no human rights protection for a human child in the womb throughout all 40 weeks of pregnancy. This is too far and out of step with community expectations. It is why One Nation has a policy position against late-term abortion, because at this point the baby is viable and can live outside the womb. Polls consistently indicate strong support for restricting late-term abortion. The recent Roy Morgan poll conducted in May 2026 found that a majority of Australians, 64%, support banning abortion after 25 weeks. This echoes an earlier 2022 Ipsos poll which found that only 39% support abortion up to 20 weeks. Although I acknowledge that a majority of Australians typically identify as pro-choice, when a specific question is asked regarding late-term abortion in a poll, a majority also express support for limiting late-term abortion. This is because most Australians think, as I do, that it's too far when we're talking about aborting a child that can survive outside the woman's body. When abortion up to birth was passed in 2021 in this place, through the passage of the Termination of Pregnancy Act, it was sold to the community as being about decriminalisation, taking the regulation of abortion out of the criminal code. No one is revisiting that today. The bill we have before us is a discrete bill that seeks to limit abortion after 25 weeks to medical necessity only. According to SA Health's Perinatal Care, the threshold of viability document, a baby at 25 weeks is now viable, and every intervention necessary is recommended to save the life of that child. By 25 weeks gestation, a baby
Guys, just quickly,
weighing
we're
around
watching and
700
we'll comment after
to
Chantel's
850
done speaking.
grams, can hear voices, open its eyes, grasp with its hands, and has established sleep-wake cycles. Advances in neonatal medicine mean that many babies born at this stage now survive and go on to live full lives. In fact, according to Dr. Melissa Lay, a senior neonatologist, President of Pro-Life Health Professionals Australia, at 25 weeks gestation for a normally developed baby, resuscitation and intensive care support is offered as standard care, with average survival over 82% across all territory nurses in the Australian and New Zealand neonatal network. The bill therefore seeks to provide a framework for balancing the needs of the two human lives that are at stake. When a woman is pregnant with a child who is 25 weeks gestation and older, it is often said that late-term abortions are rare and less than 1% of all abortions. However, I believe that even one child killed through a late-term abortion is one too many when they could have been saved. Tragically, Madam Speaker, since South Australia legislated abortion up to birth, there have been 105 children killed in late-term abortion. 105 children, that's 4 reception classrooms. 75% of these children, that's 79 in total, have not had any fetal anomaly or been aborted in emergency. The method by which these children are aborted is called feticide. It involves the injection of potassium chloride into the child's heart. This causes death and labour is then induced and the child is delivered dead. This is not the mark of a humane society. We must do better by these babies and we must support vulnerable mothers in these circumstances so that there is an alternative to feticide. As noted by the South Australian Law Reform Commission report, citing previous work by the Queensland Law Reform Commission, it has long been recognised that as the fetus develops, its interests are entitled to greater recognition and protection. At the same time, Madam Speaker, it must be acknowledged that others will hold a different view. This is precisely why this legislation is being brought forward for full and open parliamentary scrutiny. My role in moving this second reading is to ensure that the House can consider the provisions of the bill in detail.
Yep, so you're on now.
And so you guys can hear me?
Yep.
Yep. Okay, so I just wanted to jump in there because she's now just, I read the speech in advance. I'm really proud of Chantel. Like, she had to scramble today. I think one of the goals of Peter Malinauskas was to kind of make her look stupid because she wouldn't be ready. She was ready. Like, she's been ready for this her whole life. She wanted to give that speech yesterday. Like, she is so passionate about saving these babies. And did you hear some of the key things in that speech? So she's put on the parliamentary record on Hansard for the first time in a long time. I'm not even sure if it happened in 2021 in the parliamentary debates, whether on Hansard the process of feticide was explained, and she's explained it. So all of those people that are going to vote for killing babies in the heart with poison, they heard what that is. Like, this is not reproductive rights. Like, we're not talking in euphemism. Chantel got it on the record, and she said, this is the process. And she also said, you know, the myth is that late-term abortions are rare. She said even if it's one life, it would be too many. But she said tragically it's 105 babies have been killed.
With the 4 classrooms.
4 reception classrooms.
Which is a great visualisation. And it's something that needs to be considered seriously. And the thing is, just to put it really simply, guys, this means that these politicians have now heard the truth. They understand the truth.
And the media's hearing it, because the media is all watching tonight.
Exactly. And ABC, they're all up there.
They're all up there. Yep.
And now, knowing what they know, there's no running back. So the votes that we get today will give us data on who these people truly are as people.
Yeah, and last year when we introduced the first Sarah Game bill, I was describing feticide in a press conference, and Thomas from the ABC pulled me over afterwards and he said, is there any other way to do a late-term abortion? I said, no, there isn't. The baby's too big. They have to be birthed. This is what they do.
Yep.
They inject poison into the heart. And look, he looked a bit surprised because I used to be pro-choice. I'm sympathetic to these people in that they've never thought about it. They've never understood it. And I used to be like that. I used to not understand or know what abortion was. I was just brainwashed into thinking it was healthcare.
Yep.
That's the media that we're dealing with. But I think that they are turning around somewhat. I've had some conversations that are quite promising with different media.
Yep.
Getting to know all the journalists now. So, you know, they're in my phone and I'm in their phones. And that is a promising thing.
Yep.
And the other thing I want to tell you guys about Chantel. So she's had a shocker of a day in that she's had to like scramble to get this ready because Labor has pulled this move. But in the middle of the day, she did a presser out the front because the media wanted to talk to her. And she said, I'm a mum of 3. This matters to me. And I'm going to keep bringing bills. So she said, this is not over. This is not the first. This will be the last. And this is not the last. I'm going to keep going until the job's done. So I think in her, we've got now a warrior in the lower house, just like in Sarah Game, we've got a warrior in the upper house.
Yeah.
And that's powerful because she can now introduce bills in the lower house.
Exactly.
They're not going to be able to shut this down.
And there was actually something beautiful seeing Sarah and One Nation Bill staying together. I think that was a really big moment for South Australian history in terms of politically.
At the rally tonight?
Yeah. It was just fantastic to see that. And that's unity, which we need, especially in the conservative movements. We need unity right now more than ever. Because the only way the left will ever win and have any sort of comeback is if we are not unified in this moment. So,
well, we saw that in the Farrer by-election recently,
Exactly.
where One Nation was preferenced by the Liberals and the Nationals above.
And Ben Hood actually acknowledged One Nation today
He
as well.
did, yeah.
So that was fantastic.
That was good. So, look, if we're ever going to defeat the left, we're going to have some kind of coalition between the Conservative parties. And my hope is that, in One Nation, we've got a genuinely Conservative party. So now I imagine, it's Katrina Hildyard, very pro-abortion, loves killing babies. Can't wait to see this speech.
She looks like she likes.
How's she going to justify third trimester abortion?
Heart and unwavering commitment that I rise to speak against this bill, the third of this type debated since 2024, one which seeks to ban abortion after 25 weeks, almost without exception. Speaker, South Australian women can and must be trusted, together with their families and healthcare teams, to make the most deeply personal decisions about their health. This bill fundamentally misunderstands and misstates the circumstances under which later-term abortions are undertaken. They are not, and nor will they ever be, undertaken in anything but the most serious, complex and heartbreaking circumstances. In contemplating such a procedure, women are faced with one of the most difficult decisions of their lives, a decision that is theirs, with the support of their healthcare team and their family, not one with a predetermined answer directed by a politician, none of whom know the exact circumstances a particular person has found themselves in. Politicians who are not healthcare professionals. Speaker, this is never a matter of simply changing one's mind, a proposition insulting to women. Later term abortion is permitted only when two medical professionals and the mother agree that continuing the pregnancy poses significant risk of harm. It is an agonising decision, never lightly arrived at. The reality is that South Australia already has one of the most regulated systems in Australia, and given the significant advances in contemporary medical care, it is increasingly the case that women and their families receive critical information about fetal and maternal health at later gestations, at or past the point at which this bill would strip them of their right to act on that information. Speaker, to simultaneously expand what medicine can tell us while we're reducing what patients are permitted to do with that knowledge and removing the safeguard of informed decision-making and consent is a deep shame. This bill will create additional barriers to timely care and unfairly stigmatise women and families and their needs. Being forced, Speaker, to make a decision by the arbitrary time limit introduced in this bill in the face of complex and distressing circumstances poses real risks and may even result in women choosing to terminate a pregnancy that they may otherwise continue. Speaker, medical advances take women forward, not backward. Speaker, faced with little safe choice, sadly, women continue to have abortions elsewhere, even when they are illegal, and they too often suffer for it. In the 3 years since the Supreme Court ruling that overturned Roe v. Wade, infant mortality rates have risen. Speaker, we are better than this. On this matter before us, I urge members to be guided by compassion, love, kindness, and by the facts, not by judgment. It is important, Speaker, to note.
You're now speaking.
Okay, so I just want to throw up the dumpling that I just ate. She just said it, it's about love, compassion. Just give me a break. Like, she's just given a speech that has completely dehumanised the victim.
Yeah.
She's talked about women and their healthcare teams. No one takes this decision lightly. It's just all the same talking points, but the one word she hasn't mentioned the entire speech is baby. I don't think she's even.
Voiceless. Yeah,
she hasn't mentioned the baby once.
Yeah.
It's just I just don't even know how to deal with this. It's so fake and fraudulent as well, just to be this person that waltzes into churches during election periods and takes like these big smiling photos, and yet she is like baby killer in chief.
Well, she's literally a walking heretic.
Yeah.
In the greatest sense of the word, she's a heretic.
But it's just pure evil to be that into killing children that you support third trimester abortion.
Yeah, the fact that she consciously goes to church and plays the role of I'm a church lover, but then will then sit up in Parliament as a leader and say
she's the first person to get up and speak to support third trimester abortion, and I don't even know how. And so she came to my church, and she's come during election time, and then it's just getting so sick of it. So after church, in the grounds, I asked her for an interview, and I said, now that you're at church, you're here at Easter Mass, can I assume that you therefore have stopped your love, you've repented of your previous love for killing babies? And she couldn't answer that. She received communion, but she walked away, didn't want to talk, didn't want to answer it, because she can't actually be pressed on this. She can stand up here in a speech where she's not going to get interrupted. But in the real world, where ordinary people are, these people cannot answer an actual question about why they love killing babies up to birth, why feticide is necessary.
Yeah.
In the Parliament where no one's going to interrupt her, she can do this. But then out in the real world, so normal people need to get their cameras out and they need to be asking these people questions. You see a baby killing politician, you need to get your camera out and ask them that question. You need to write letters to them. You need to meet with them.
And people need to understand, the history of abortion dates back to around the 1915s when academics were pushing towards eugenics as a movement.
Yeah.
The whole idea of Planned Parenthood.
So people like Margaret Sanger.
Yeah, the whole reason they actually introduced abortion was to eradicate African Americans in and at this time.
She said she wanted to put the clinics in black neighbourhoods.
Well, they were doing they literally de-sterilized 60,000 African Americans at that point.
It's a racist eugenicist movement.
It was a eugenics movement, and it lasted for about 10 years. They actually had a human zoo in New York City where they had humans on display. They're from different African tribes across the world.
Wow.
The only reason
That's the side Katrina Hill-Judd's on.
she doesn't. Well, yeah, she's on that side, and what she doesn't realize is the only reason we got rid of the eugenics. Oh, actually, this is gonna be really
Okay, so
interesting.
this is Tom, the treasurer.
I'll-
Now, Tom is.
He's Orthodox.
Yeah, can I say
think
something
she's
but just before we speak?
Yep.
Okay, so Tom is the treasurer. He is a great supporter behind the scenes and he will speak in favour of the bill.
Yep.
He's a real outlier. He's old Labor.
Yeah.
The new crop coming through are just love
And
killing babies.
he's
but
at church a lot,
He's an
so-
Orthodox and I believe him. He's a trustworthy man.
That's
On
how
these
this
matters.
is.
Yeah.
On conscience votes is a bit rich coming from one nation. So I'm not going to have it. Don't walk in here 90 days after being elected and lecture me about conscience votes, and lecture me about abortion, and lecture me about euthanasia. How dare you? I've been doing this for 28 years. You walk in here and disparage my colleagues who are voting on their conscience. These are all good people, every member in this place. All of them will be voting their conscience, either for or against their bill. None of them with malice, none of them with an agenda, none of them with an ideology, but based on their very best endeavours about what they think is right.
Okay.
So I
Yep.
Okay, so Tom is a good guy, but this is BS. You might have to pause him a little bit. No, like this is ridiculous. Like they're not good people, Tom. If you believe that killing babies is wrong, then the people that are on the side of killing babies, that's not good people. Like they've dulled their conscience and.
I think Tom's going for that approach. Like I protect my own.
I know he's a Labor man.
Yeah,
the thing about Tom is I don't even know how he exists in the Labor Party, given that he is a practicing Orthodox and he is.
Well, if you look at the
His own child was born at 28 weeks, I think.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he knows that this bill, would deprive human rights of even his own daughter, who's born at 28 weeks. He held his daughter. So look, I hope he speaks about that. But that was an annoying, confected performance from Tom. But I do generally like Tom. Going to put that out there.
We'll see what he says.
You know, when you get these discussions with nurses and doctors who are aching to do their best for families in terrible circumstances, you get given appalling options as parents. And the options that we were given were heart-wrenching. But we decided as a family that we would leave this to fate. We put our trust in the medical system. We put our trust in the hands of the unseen, and we were blessed. We were blessed at one time, and the next time we weren't. They're the breaks. But every time I look at my daughter Tia, who is now 15 years old, is taller than my wife, smarter than me, that's not hard, that's true. She is a bright, bubbly, beautiful young woman who has an amazing future ahead of her. I was given horrific options by doctors, and I felt very challenged at that time, but we chose a different path, and I am glad that we did. I am very glad that we did, because I wouldn't be able to live with myself if we had not. But I understand this is a difficult scenario for members, and I understand that this will be very difficult for members to vote on.
Yeah.
That's beautiful to hear, guys. Tom open up like this.
Yeah, do you want to...
The bill will not succeed, but it is important that it has passed one house, and that is historic. And I am very proud of the people of the upper house who voted to bring the bill to the lower house. The bill will be overwhelmingly defeated in this parliament, and it will be overwhelmingly defeated by good people who are voting on the basis of their views, not because of any malice, not because of any hatred, not because they want to hurt people, but because they want to do what they think is right. Now, I disagree with them, and I will vote my conscience. But I can tell you that when the votes are tallied, it won't be unanimous Labor Party one side, Liberal Party the other side, but it will be unanimous on one nation. So don't lecture us about conscience. I want to finish on one point. This debate will not end. It will continue. As the pendulum swings backwards and forwards, this will continue, because what we are talking about ultimately is a very emotional and difficult subject. It is a topic of when does life begin? And I'm in the camp that life begins very, very early. I accept that is not universal. And I accept that there are people who have very different points of view on that matter. But I think I will be happy to be judged by history on this matter. I joined the Labor Party for a number of reasons, Speaker. I joined because culturally there was nowhere else for me to go. I believe in fighting for equity for people who have no voice. And I've always believed that people who have no voice deserve to have the most powerful speak up for them. And that's why I am voting for this bill.
Brilliant.
Guys, just quickly comment on that. It was an absolutely fantastic, moving speech, besides the style, obviously, but he's defending his own. But I just want to give credit to Tom there. He really said some pretty phenomenal things, and it was great to hear the story of his own personal experience. Just quickly, guys, this is Ali. You want to introduce yourself, your background?
That's right. Good to meet you.
You too.
My name is Ali. I'm a YouTuber with a background in filmmaking, and this issue of abortion, and particularly the late-term abortions, was something that really shocked me, thanks to Joanna's work. And so I've been trying to do what I can to speak up about this, and I think it's even good to maybe talk about this right now, is to just remind people of just the sheer numbers of babies that have been aborted recently in any given year, but particularly if you look at a sort of 10-year window, the numbers are really shocking. Now, of course, we're not talking about ending all abortion in this bill, but it's worth to just remind us like what we're moving towards. And so some people may know of the viral fact now that 28% of Gen Z have been aborted.
Wow.
That is
insane.
just looking at the babies that were born between 1997 and 2012.
Wow.
This is just shy of about 1 billion babies. Now, that's a very small window of time. But if you think about just how many lives that equates to, it equates to 10 times the number of people killed in World War II, just in that single generation of Gen Z.
Wow.
It also equates to 5 times more than the death toll of every single war in human history. Again, just in that 15-year window, 5 times more than all wars combined. But I can keep going. You know, it's like wiping out almost the entire human population that existed in the 1800s, or wiping out more than the population of Europe. Again, and we're doing this decade in, decade out. And so the stakes are high. You know, we're not just talking about a small issue that affects a small number of people, which even then would be important. We're talking about an issue that is really affecting hundreds of millions, if not billions of people every 10 years.
So we could safely say, I'll use the word philosophy or ontologically as humans, this is the greatest act of evil in our entire history as humanity.
And it's hidden behind doors in hospitals and in clinics under the label of healthcare, which really I think is why this has gone on for so long, and why it's been really difficult for the culture to really put their finger on it, because it's hidden. It's not gassing people in chambers. It's not eradicating them through some kind of ethnic cleansing or genocide or anything like that. This is done under the flowery language of choice, and you know, my body and this and that. So this is a big thing.
And it affects every race now. Where in the past abortion was first thought of as a way to kill African Americans on a mass scale. Now it affects every race, but even then, if you look at abortion rates in America, a lot of it is African American still. So nothing's really changed.
It is. But what I find really interesting is if you add all this together, you just take a kind of meta perspective, you zoom out and you look at what this all means for the culture. And this is just one perspective on this. Okay, you can look at the economics, you can look at the human rights angle, you can look at the metaphysical, the spiritual angle of this. But let's just zoom out a minute. If 28% of Gen Z have been aborted, and we also know, this is another shocking fact, that about 50% of millennials are still childless. right? So I'm a millennial. I'm one of them that actually has children, but so many of my friends still don't, for all kinds of factors. You realize actually that the birth rate as well in basically every secular country is about 1 to 1.4. That's the birth rate. In Australia, it's a little bit higher, 1.5 or 1.6, but it's not at replacement levels. You start to realize for all the flack that the Chinese Communist Party get for doing the one-child policy and how disastrous that has been for them, and they're on a demographic time bomb for their economy. If you just think about it, we've voluntarily done that to ourselves.
Yeah.
And we didn't need a big authoritarian government to do that. We have done it to ourselves voluntarily under the language of social justice and feminism and the sexual revolution. And look, people have been raised in this culture, as we all have, and this is what we've been inculcated in. And people are making difficult choices. We don't always have the answers. But when you look at it from this perspective, it is sheer insanity. It is insanity.
And it's also the leading cause of the immigration issues we're having now. People don't want mass immigration, and the idea of Australia's identity being kind of washed away because of the high levels of immigration coming through, not giving people time to assimilate, not giving time for people to learn how to speak English.
Yeah.
Abortion is only adding to that on a scale that's acceptable, because if that's 70,000 lives in Australia roughly lost, that's 70,000 more people that could have been born, and that's in a society where ultra-feminism has create a scenario where women and men are believed to, put career first over family until they're at their 30s, and then their fertility rates are so low that even by the time, I know many people, because I'm in my 30s now, I know many women who are my age who are friends who are struggling to have children now, and they want to, but they were sold a life, and they spent their 20s, their entire 20s dedicated to that lie, and now they're living in absolute regret and sorrow, and it's quite sad actually. It's actually, it's disastrous.
That's right. Now, just to, if I don't know if there's anything else we need to respond to here before we get back on.
Let's have a look at the comments. Let's just jump back into quickly see what he's saying, because this is the Liberal Party, Mr. Teague.
That's required after a certain period of time. Legislation supporting appropriate ethical healthcare and clinical practice. The difficulty with the way this bill is framed, and hence this debate, and we've been here before, is that it is using a benchmark of time combined with one, or now perhaps two, super added criteria that are then set out in the legislation and that are somehow supposed to add to the material that the expert clinician is confronting. Now, I just say in the clearest possible terms, for me, it's once the proposition's been established, it's never about an arbitrary period of time, nor is it about the reduction.
Sorry guys, we were trying to listen to Mr. Teague and he wasn't really saying much.
Well, we were just talking about the mass migration issue.
Yeah.
And I think this is one of the things that many of us are starting to cotton onto, is that the abortion issue really does spill into all these other factors in life. Economics, right? So less of a workforce, less people in the military, less people paying taxes, less people to pull from to be those entrepreneurial, innovators and things like that. That's a very kind of utilitarian way of looking at it. But in terms of culturally, this is basically behind, or at least one of the major reasons behind the mass migration that's happening into Europe in a very big way at the moment. So when these countries, particularly in Europe, the UK, where 50% of millennials are still childless, we've aborted 28% of Gen Z, you're going to have to somehow keep the banks happy, keep the housing market afloat. And so the premise was flood Europe with as many migrants as possible.
Yeah.
Hasn't quite worked out.
No.
They've brought people in to basically live off of the welfare state, which has only made things worse for their economy, worse for the housing shortage, worse for everything. But basically, we now know that. Sorry.
No, that's right. Teague.
He's not saying
much.
No.
He's kind of just.
Yeah. But
I like Teague, but yeah.
Yeah.
You guys have taken over the last.
We have. I'll let you back on in a second. But we basically now know that London's 20% Muslim.
Yep.
Paris is about 15. I've gotten onto Islam, Joanna.
We're talking about
I've gotten onto Islam.
Abortion. It's all tied in.
Marseille in France, in the south of France, that's 30%. There's a city in the north of France that is about 60% Muslim now. Sweden is expected to be 30% Muslim in 20 years. Various towns across the UK are 40% Muslim.
And Sweden just voted on a population cap of 10 million. They voted against it, so they're going for. They're willing now to go above 10 million as their population cap.
Really?
So they're saying yes to mass immigration now.
Yeah.
So
Well, the Spanish government as well have just opened up their borders. They're going to neutralize 1.35 million people from North Africa over the next couple of years, which they're going to flood into the north of Europe. So we're talking about civilizational tectonic shifts.
Yeah.
Kind of spurred on in part or largely by the abortion issue and.
Well, abortion and liberalism itself, I think the experiment of liberalism has failed. Like the idea that everyone's equal, I feel for me in an orthodox sense, everyone's equal spiritually, but not everyone's equal culturally, not everyone's equal in education, and not everyone's equal in language.
Yeah.
All right, can we listen to this guy for a bit?
Let's go.
Considering in this place the protections that are necessary, especially for those that can't protect themselves. So in reflecting on the debate that's been happening in the other place and the amendments that have been considered and the like, and can I really commend those that have been contributing from their heart in the other place. I don't have a written down speech that's going to last for 30 minutes, but I've reflected on the contributions that have been made, and when considering matters like this, I always come back to fundamentals. Always come back to fundamentals, and for me, truly life is precious, and we should be doing what we can as decision makers to protect those that can't protect themselves. And I think this change to this legislation, this bill that's been brought before us, really does strike to get that balance right. I watched with interest, I wasn't in this place at the time, that the substantive changes to this Act were debated, but I was sitting up in the gallery like many of the members of the public throughout that debate, and the conscientious way which members from both sides considered that. And there should not be any flippant decisions made. There should be no decisions made on something like this for any sort of selfish or political reasons. This is something which we've been tasked with in this place to make the decision that we think is best from our own conscience and our own heart, and this is why I'm going to be supporting this bill when the vote comes to the floor, and I encourage everyone here to really lean into that aspect, like I said, of your conscience, and to lean into what you know is right when discussing and debating this bill. For mine, I'm going to be supporting the bill. Thank you.
The Minister for Transport and Infrastructure.
Thank you, Speaker, and I rise to oppose this bill, and would be of no surprise to those in this chamber, and it's something that I have been exercising my conscience on consistently each and every time that this matter has come before us, and much to the protestations of the member for Narunga, I stood here in this place in my maiden speech and committed that every day that I had the privilege of being in this place, I would be supporting the fair, just, safe and legal access to abortion for all women in South Australia. Tonight I feel a very deep sense of responsibility. We're here again. And I'm sorry that we're here again. And to those advocates, to the women in this state, to the people that I love, I am sorry that we're here again. As a man in this place, I can't help but continually reflect that if this was a male issue that was fundamentally affecting male reproductive autonomy, we wouldn't be here again. This is a matter that is consistent with a structural disadvantage that women have faced in our society for generations. And whilst in the short time, in the 7 years that I've had the privilege of serving the community of Cheltenham, I think this is the fourth time that we've dealt with a substantive matter before us. This is a fight and a campaign that giants before us have been for their lifetime. And I'm sure that I don't stand alone tonight to commit that as long as this fight continues, and it will continue, that we stand with you. This is a fundamental approach to me. And look, there are very thoughtful contributions made by the members tonight, particularly the member for West Torrens. What I do want to say on the record is that I hear and respect your stories, your experiences. Each and every one of us bring our own experience to this place. We are better for it. You know, we are a better parliament for it. And my, strong aspiration for as long as I am here is that the diversity of stories that we bring to this place become greater. But the stories that are brought here, I don't have the answers for either. I can't stand here and
All right, we're calling it. We're not listening to this guy
what are
any
your
longer.
thoughts on Shinsetsky?
Okay, so his name is Joe Sachs, and I mean,
And he sucks.
Yeah.
I want to punch him in the sack.
No, you're not allowed to say that,
metaphorically.
darling. No, metaphorically, no calls for violence here. But this guy, oh my! So he's like one of those guys that's like, I'm a man, and I don't have a uterus, and so this is all about the women. And
The white knight. of
Yeah,
Parliament.
yeah. He goes to pro-abortion rallies. I've seen him at them. So that this guy is everything that is wrong with like men. This kind of man is the worst kind of man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is like the destruction of humanity manifest.
Yeah.
Should be called Joe Sackless.
Are you just here to make wisecracks?
Yeah, he's angry.
I'm just. You asked me to comment on the video that I just saw, and that's what I'm doing.
Yeah. I mean, what do you think, Ali?
Every time I hear a guy just not say what he needs to say and just kind of I don't know, it's pandering. It feels like that kind of soy boy beta male type stuff, and it's not a good look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting how he said if this was men, an issue affecting men, we would have got the job done ages ago, but because it's women.
He doesn't realise, actually, you just said women are incompetent. Yeah.
It's like, would have been done and dusted years ago, but...
Joe Sachs just insulted every single woman while thinking he's like a feminist.
Yeah.
Men who think they're feminists are the worst.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. They're just like, you avoid them like the plague. Do not date them, do
there's
not
actually a
marry
reason
them.
for that, because birth control actually makes women more attracted to feminine men. So there was a natural reaction for men who become more feminized because they'd actually get them more women.
All right. Well, I'm not on birth control, and I'm with a very masculine man right here.
But now, luckily, birth control is now being considered a class 1 carcinogen. So, and also causes a lot of strokes.
Yeah,
So
it's interesting.
women are
There's
starting to wake up
some
to that.
lawsuits in France, such as
Yeah.
Okay, so before this douche, if I'm allowed to say that.
You can say douche.
Yeah, I can say
You
douche.
just can't call for violence.
Yeah, I'm not.
You might get banned from the lower house for using language like that as well.
Wow.
really?
Imagine if
Safe
they banned me,
space.
but I wasn't even there tonight. All right. So the guy before this was Sam Telfer. He was amazing. He's a Liberal guy, and he's honestly so outstanding in the lower house. I did think about approaching him to bring the bill. Chantel was my first pick, and I felt after a lot of consideration that she was the right person. And I've seen that in the last 24 hours, the way she stepped up to the plate. But Sam Telfer is an outstanding Liberal, very pro-life, always been consistent.
One Nation speaking. Should we turn this on?
Yeah. So who is this?
This is Dave. 1 second.
Is this Dave Payton?
Parliament is considering
Yeah,
legislation
Dave.
that goes to one of the most fundamental questions any society can confront, the value of human life, and our responsibility to protect those who cannot protect themselves. This bill is, at its core, about where we are as a parliament, who believe the line should be drawn in relation to late-term termination of pregnancy. South Australia's existing legal framework allows for termination late pregnancy under the broad set of criteria reflecting a desire to place decision-making in the hands of clinicians. However, it also permits terminations at stages where there is increasing recognition of fetal development and viability. The bill before us proposes a measured adjustment. It does not criminalise abortion, nor does it affect access in early or mid-pregnancy. What it does is it establishes a higher threshold in the late stages, limiting terminations to circumstances where they are necessary to save the life of a mother and supported by appropriate medical oversight. People do hold different views on abortion. However, as gestational advances, the ethical, medical and moral considerations become increasingly complex and significant. By 24 weeks and 6 days, we are discussing unborn children who are well advanced in development and at a point where questions of viability become more immediate. Medical advances have improved outcomes for premature infants, and community expectations have evolved alongside those advances. This bill reflects an attempt to reconcile those developments with the law by setting a more clearly defined boundary at the later stages of pregnancy. I acknowledge that opponents of this bill raise serious and sincere held concerns, particularly regarding the removal of broader health grounds and the impact of women facing complex, distressing situations. These concerns must not be dismissed lightly. They reflect real situations that require compassion, high-quality care, and appropriate support. At the same time, it is legitimate for this Parliament to consider whether the current legal threshold remains appropriate at these later stages. This bill does not remove care or support, nor does it prevent clinical treatment. Rather, it seeks to ensure in rare and serious cases late in pregnancy, the law draws a clearer and more defined boundary. Politics exists to serve people. Before there can be prosperity, opportunity, education, healthcare or liberty, there must be life itself. Life is the foundation on which all rights depend upon. A civilised society is judged, in part, by how it treats its most vulnerable members, and few are more vulnerable than the unborn child who has no voice in this debate. As members of Parliament, we are entrusted with shaping not only the laws, but the moral character of our state. That responsibility calls for courage, compassion and integrity. Whatever position members ultimately take, I urge them to approach this debate with seriousness and the dignity it deserves. For my part, I believe this bill represents a balanced and principled approach, maintaining access to abortion as healthcare while placing a carefully considered limit in later stages of pregnancy. Honourable members, I commend the bill to the House. Thank you.
Member for Finnis.
Thank you, Speaker.
There you go.
Okay, so that was the One Nation, Robert
Yep.
Roy Lance.
Yep.
Yep. Great speech, spoke about the humanity of the unborn child. It's really good to see these One Nation MPs just getting up. This is very new, like a very controversial, they're new MPs and they're doing it.
And he did a very good job of explaining how medical technology has advanced at such a stage that premature babies can survive and tend to survive. And that is something that, you know, the left like to argue that there's no point because there's the survivability and it's injustice.
25
around.
weeks, they've got an 82% chance of survival, and it's increasing by about 5 to 7%.
Yep.
Until you get to 28 weeks, where it's like over 90% survival rates. Like these are, like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, for me it was just a relief to hear someone speak like a human watching this and not just waffle on hot air. So that was just nice.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's right. All right, let's listen to this person.
Yep, let's get it on.
The instinct that many people feel to seek greater protection for unborn children. That instinct speaks to deeply held and shared values about life and care. But in this place, our role is not simply to respond to instinct or sentiment. Our role is to determine whether proposed laws will improve outcomes and whether they are appropriate in practice. And that is where my concern lies with this bill. The current law in South Australia today ensures that terminations after 22 weeks and 6 days are strictly regulated. They are not available on request. They require the agreement of 2 independent medical practitioners who both must consider that a termination is medically appropriate. They must be satisfied that one of several serious grounds applies: to save the life of the pregnant person, to prevent significant risk to their health, to address serious fetal abnormality, or, in some cases, to save another fetus. These procedures must occur in clinical settings and under professional standards that are both rigorous and accountable. In other words, the law already recognises that these situations are exceptional, serious, and complex. We also know from clinical evidence, public reporting and professional bodies that late-term abortions are rare. These procedures represent a very small proportion of all terminations, and when they do occur, they are linked to serious medical circumstances. They are not decisions taken lightly. They are not routine, and they are not made in isolation. They are made in consultation with highly trained clinicians, often in circumstances of profound difficulty for the individual and their family. In my own discussions with clinicians, I have deepened my knowledge of some of these circumstances. I have learned of situations that are difficult for everyday people to imagine, difficult for those of us in this Parliament to imagine, and indeed, some are too difficult to accept as a lived reality in our own society. In the cases I have learned of, these decisions are not experienced as simple choice, but as deeply distressing or unbearable circumstances with no easy or comfortable outcome. It is in these, the most complex and difficult of circumstances, that this bill seeks to restrict the medical care available. In effect, beyond 24 weeks and 6 days, it narrows the law so that termination would only be permitted where it is necessary to save the life of the pregnant person, with the added amendment now for fetal abnormalities also. In doing so, however, it removes consideration of other serious grounds, including significant risks to health, significant risks to health. That is a significant change. I have considered this bill very carefully. I understand the intent behind it, and I recognise that it is motivated by a desire to protect vulnerable life. But I am not satisfied that the proposed changes would achieve that outcome without unintended and serious consequences. In particular, I am not satisfied that this bill would not negatively impact women's physical health in all circumstances. And that brings me to what I see as the central issue in this debate.
It's quite stressful.
These idiots doing your head in.
Who is best placed to make these decisions? Is it Parliament through prescriptive legislation, or is it clinicians working within an evidence-based, regulated medical framework? The current law reflects a clear position that these decisions should rest with qualified medical professionals, applying their expertise to the individual circumstances of each patient.
Can I eat one of these?
All right.
Yeah.
So, guys, what are your thoughts on that, Joanna?
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, the first thing is she went to great pains to talk about how hard it is to get a late-term abortion. There's 2 doctors and it's so hard. The reality is you just rock up to the pregnancy advisory clinic. You're not even seen by a psychiatrist. So most of these late-term abortions are for a mental health reason. And so Taylor Jane Jackson, for example, went in there at 27 weeks, so advanced her child is, like she's into the 7th month. And she said, I've got a mental health emergency. And she didn't even get assessed by a psychiatrist. She saw a social worker. And the second doctor doesn't even have to see the patient. They just have to see the patient's file. Like, this woman went to great lengths to talk about all the checks and balances. When that's, like, I think they just knew that they couldn't write into the legislation abortion up to birth for any reason. So they make it sound like there's this criteria. But, you know, the fact that you've had 79 healthy babies, so no fetal anomaly, and these weren't abortions to save the life of the mother, and yet those 79 late-term abortions happened, that tells you that they're happening for non-emergency reasons. And I've had a midwife tell me that one woman took the baby, like had an abortion at 32 weeks, and then said, "I'm going to use the stillbirth parenting payment that the government gives you for abortion to go to a holiday to Bali." And it's just like Yeah.
It kicked off as well when she started by saying that, well, she was implying that people from your side of the fence, our side of the fence, are acting kind of on emotion, that this is all kind of not very rational, and so we need to, and that these laws already exist, and basically saying that all this is just pointless. That was the initial impression I got in her opening statement. So obviously that's undermining and a straw man, first of all, but
She was saying we need to go beyond instincts. Like our natural instinct is to care for these babies, but we've got to leave that, park that to the side. What do you think, darling?
Yeah, look, I think it's interesting how I think it's interesting how the left goes to so much effort to try to talk about the checks and balances. Like they're always doing, oh, there's such important safeguards. Like, it's like, well, why do you even care that there are safeguards? Like, why do there have to be safeguards? It's either right or it's wrong. Like, if it's wrong, because another thing she said is like, you know, I know that people want to protect innocent life. It's like, well, what life are we talking about here? What is, like, life is kind of like a euphemistic word. I don't exactly like it in the anti-abortion scene, even though, like, it's a word that gets used constantly, because it's just kind of feels so, like, ubiquitous. Life could mean, like, a germ or, like, life on Mars or whatever. But, like, when she says, like, vulnerable life, she's talking about human beings, you know what I mean? Like, people. And so when she says, oh, you don't want to let your emotions run the party, you know. Well, your emotions are telling you that it's wrong to kill innocent people. And, like, that's just not a line that you can cross without the risk of becoming of going down in the history books as a very evil, genocidal person. You know, the willingness to take innocent human life. I think these people, it's almost like they just don't even understand, like, how we're going to look back at this time in the future. So, yeah.
Should we hear what James is saying? He's a Liberal guy.
Yeah, so this is...
what's the word?
let's listen to him. This is Jack Batty.
Jack Batty, that's
Jack
right.
Batty, let's listen.
Legal framework
I just want to see what
late-term terminations. I support having a strong framework in place that ensures the welfare and interests of both the pregnant woman and the unborn child are rigorously considered and balanced. Late-term abortion should be carefully regulated, clinically justified and rare. In my view, the current legislation provides that robust framework. South Australia's current law was developed following extensive consultation and parliamentary consideration. It provides a framework for late-term terminations, requiring the involvement and agreement of medical practitioners and limiting such procedures to very specific circumstances. The current legislation does not permit the termination of a pregnancy after 22 weeks and 6 days gestation unless two medical practitioners consider that the termination is necessary to save the life of the pregnant person or another fetus, or continuing the pregnancy would involve significant risk of injury to the physical or mental health of the pregnant person, or there is a case or significant risk of serious fetal anomalies associated with the pregnancy. These are strict criteria, they are appropriate and in my view reflect community expectations. They have resulted in late-term terminations occurring only very rarely. Approximately 1% of terminations in South Australia occur after 22 weeks and 6 days gestation. I expect the number occurring after 24 weeks and 6 days would be smaller still. It is my view that decisions in these rare and exceptionally difficult circumstances are best made by women, their families and their treating medical teams rather than by politicians. This debate is not about easy choices. It is about some of the hardest decisions a person can ever confront. These cases are uncommon and often involve complex medical situations that most of us can scarcely imagine. While I respect those who support this bill and recognise their views are grounded in sincerely held beliefs, I'm not persuaded that Parliament should further narrow the discretion available to clinicians and families facing these circumstances. Having weighed the arguments carefully, I have reached the view that the existing legislative framework strikes the most appropriate balance. Accordingly, I will be voting against this bill.
The Minister for Health and Wellbeing.
Thank you very much, Speaker, and I rise this evening to also oppose.
So what's your reaction, guys, to Jack Batty's speeches?
We got to get rid of Jack Batty. I mean, that is the disease in the Liberal Party right there. That is the disease.
It's an interesting position.
79% of coalition voters support a ban on late-term abortion. He's in the seat of Unley, so I think it's essentially like a bit of a Teal seat, well-heeled. But even
very
there,
wealthy seat.
yeah, even there, if you tell people about this, and that's what we're going to be doing, we'll have to campaign in Jack Batty's seat. He's got to go. That's the disease in the Liberal Party right there, and that's what One Nation is now able to attack because. You know, tonight you've got the Liberal Party spraying in both directions, and it shouldn't be. It's meant to be a Conservative party, and here they are voting for third trimester abortion. That's disgusting. He needs to go.
And the sad thing is he's trying to position himself as an intelligent, wise, like this is the articulate position. You know, this is the way that we must do things in Unley. You know, it's like, no.
Yeah.
That's what you've been told by maybe some feminists that.
Yeah, it's just a baby killing piece of shit. That's what he is. Sorry, it just is what it is.
Yeah.
Like, let's not sugarcoat the message.
Yeah.
It's a piece of trash.
Yeah, and he's a trash. We're going to take him out. Like that's good. No, like metaphorically. Take the trash out. You know, like take the bins out, that sort of thing. Yeah. Going to do that to Jack Batty. I think is that Vicky Chapman's old seat.
Yeah,
I think it is.
This is
So Vicky Chapman was chief baby killer herself, who Liberal lost the election for the Liberals because as Attorney General she pushed radical leftist legislation like this, abortion up to birth. They lost the election straight after that, and the Liberals still haven't learned their lesson. They've still got guys like him around. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think the tide really is turning. I don't know whether it was around Charlie Kirk or whatever else has happened, but One Nation's been rising up. I think politicians are starting to use the C word, right? The Christianity word, right? So something's changing. Something's changing, which is good.
Yeah, and Chantal said tonight that she went into politics after Charlie Kirk died. Like that was the turning point for her.
That was the turning point.
Possibly nothing's changing for the Liberal Party, but that's fine because we don't need them. So.
Yeah, well, look, it's been the biggest issue. I say this: the Liberal Party like to stand behind the concept of being a broad church, but the sad reality is most of them don't go to church anymore. Yeah. So it doesn't really.
The broad church is a disaster, and it's a stupid idea. No, I don't like it, George. Don't try and defend
it. It
made
made sense in the '60s when 90% of the population was Christian and the Liberals were mostly
Christian. Yeah, and the broad church then includes.
Because it made sense, but now that they're all secular. It doesn't make sense when you've got
leftists who are.
Hey, I'm happy to have like a Greek Orthodox and an Eastern Catholic, and you know what I mean.
Yeah.
We just don't want any
Orthodox. You've been sandwiched by two Greek Orthodox.
We have a broad church right here.
We're getting swamped by Greek Orthodox. No, but it doesn't make sense when you've got leftists who.
Look who we don't have on our couch here. Notice any baby killers here? This is how you arrange your broad church.
Yeah, good. That is right, darling. Yeah.
Clear that the fetus is also sedated. And I point out this is in line with the clinical guidelines set out by RANZCOG. I would also like to briefly address the amendment that was put by the Honourable Tung No in the other place, and just make the point that this amendment was not drafted in consultation with medical bodies, certainly not the four that I quoted from before, and is not consistent with the RANZCOG clinical guidelines. Ascertaining chances of survival for a fetus with severe anomalies is not a simple diagnostic process. This increases the uncertainty for practitioners about whether they are acting within the law. Before finishing my remarks, Speaker, I want to echo the words of really every member of this place who's made a contribution this evening to say it has been a respectful debate in this place, and that is something that should be acknowledged, and I do so now. But I am firmly of the belief that we already have a fit-for-purpose legislative framework that treats abortion as healthcare. It was very hard fought and won by people who bravely stood in this place and voted for it, and who stood on the shoulders of people who bravely called for it from outside this parliament for many, many years before I've had the good fortune to sit here. Some of those people are here this evening. I acknowledge their presence and I thank them. Speaker, we should not resile from this position that we have put in place here in South Australia through many years of hard debate, through the imposition of regressive limits that increase stigma, increase trauma, and in some cases, danger to women in South Australia.
The member for Nadgerry.
Thank you, Madam
Press and then I'll say something.
I will.
I want to see if he is opposing first. 1 second.
No, let's start.
Give me a little bit of grace.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, James, what did you think of that?
Oh man, like it's honestly hard to watch these people, to be
Yeah.
honest with you, especially these quote unquote men. Honestly, it's so pathetic. Like, what kind of just a limp loser is in favour of injecting babies in the heart with poison? Seriously.
Yeah.
And I say limp because, like, on the one hand, it's murderous, and yes, he is. Like, he is definitely murderous. But, like, really, what I see there is just neutered manhood, you know? It's just a neutered, like, ballless excuse for a man. Like, you know, I feel like most people really do know what late-term abortion is. Like, you can sort of give some people, like, you can give people a leave pass on early abortion, because I think a lot of people just honestly do believe that it's a clump of cells. But when you're talking about a full-grown baby, which is what this is,
which can be delivered alive,
which can be delivered alive and survive and do just fine, you know, survive. When I say survive, I mean like live to have a full life, you know. Like, yeah, could be adopted if the mother doesn't want to have the child, and or either way though, like, you know, grow up and go to school, have friends, fall in love, get married. You know what I mean? This is what this is what human life is. You know what I mean? And that, like, just disgusting freak wants to keep injecting these kids in the heart. Like, just, there's no excuse for it.
And he's a liar. So that's Boyer, Blair Boyer, and he said that women go under anaesthetic. They get put to sleep when this happens to them, and that goes then into the baby, and the baby is put to sleep when they are injected with potassium chloride. It's just not true. So I released the feticide, like a whistleblower gave me the feticide guideline and the protocol, and it's very clear there that the woman receives it, but then the doctors can consider using fetal analgesia. I can never say that word, but there is that possibility, but it's not a mandatory thing. And there is no proof that because this all happens very quickly, so they put the woman to sleep, and what Boyer's saying is, oh, well, that crosses the placenta and reaches the baby so quickly, and they are then, you know, put to sleep. That's not happening. There's no, and in fact, when they do like a fetal surgery, they do put the baby to sleep.
Can you just explain what's not happening?
They're not the baby isn't being given any pain relief prior to the injection.
Yeah, the pain relief does not cross the placenta and go to the baby. That's a myth. That's not true.
Yeah, he just lied.
So who's giving him that information though? Why?
Well, this was a myth that Connie Benares, who's pro-abortion, has now thankfully been kicked out from the parliament. One of the reasons we passed the bill in the upper house tonight. She also perpetuated that myth. I've got a YouTube video. You might remember we filmed it together, darling, and we talked about how this is just a lie.
Yeah.
It's just a blatant lie.
There is a drug that they give the baby, but that's to paralyse their muscles. It gives no pain relief, like zero. They're still fully conscious. They just can't move. They're paralysed. So
that's just sick.
But that's
so
make it easier for them to remove their limbs or.
It makes it easier for them to plunge the needle into their heart. But that is like just the same as being bitten by a blue-ringed octopus. Like, you're completely paralysed, but you're fully conscious, and you can still feel all pain. It's just barbaric.
Don't forget, guys, like, babies in the womb at 18 weeks can hear sound and are like sucking on their thumb and smiling and stuff, let alone 25 weeks. Like, it's actually really sad that these men are sitting up here and they're fighting for that.
What does this guy say?
Yeah, we'll listen to this guy.
To hear that there are members that are voting on block does really bother me, and it should bother every member of this parliament, because it is such a fragile, I guess, environment when we are making decisions, you know, for the betterment of the common good. Now, I guess what I've seen this time, and I continue to see through the course of this debate or this discussion, is that the outside forces on politician, I think, is palpable. Some of the outside forces, I think, you know, is worthy of listening to. Some of those outside forces, I think, are, you know, have been almost to the point of bullying us as legislators. But what I must say is that I am pro-life, but I am pro-life with conditions, and I am pro-life with a level of understanding the complexities. And, you know, I have a very large family network, and I've experienced all sorts of complexities when it comes to birth, when it comes to pregnancy, when it comes to conception, and then sometimes out of nowhere these complexities come along and they raise decision-making processes. But what I must say is that when we get sick, when we have health issues, we don't go to lobbyists, we don't go to a politician and say, what do you think I should do? We go to a health professional. We go to a clinician, or we go to a specialist. We go to the people that we trust. We go to the people that we should trust because they are trained professionals to give us the best advice that we should have. Now, you know, I think decisions through that process, sure, they have to be acknowledged by the parents, they've got to be acknowledged by the doctors, but they've also got safety parameters, particularly when it comes to this bill. Now, I reiterate what I say is that, you know, these decisions should not be made by ideology. They should not be made by politicians. They should not be made by lobbyists. They should be made by the health professionals that we trust. And the Minister for Health, I think, has put it quite rightly that he has been to the experts that have given him that level of certainty that I would trust. But I wouldn't trust a politician or I wouldn't trust a lobbyist to give me the health professional answers that I would need in a time of uncertainty or a time when you're questioning life. And so that is why I cannot support this bill, and it is done with a level of consultation with my constituents. But I guess the thing that really has sat with me is that I went to my family. I've been to 3 generations of my family and asked for their opinion about what they thought and just exactly what the complexities of, you know, whether it's family succession, whether it's newborn, birth, whether it's termination, and I've experienced it all in my family, you know, family experiences. And so I think that gives me an opportunity to, you know, express my conscience. It gives me an opportunity to express my opinion, but it also gives me an opportunity to express what I think the best decision is, and that will be that I will not be supporting the bill.
Just making sure. If the member for Narungga speaks, she closes debate. Member for Narungga.
Madam Speaker, as this debate draws to a close, I ask members to reflect on the question that sits at the heart of this bill. What responsibility does the state bear towards a child that can survive outside the womb? If medical intervention can be used to terminate the unborn, can medical intervention be used to save them? Throughout this debate, we have heard differing views on autonomy, healthcare, law and ethics. Those views have been sincerely held and thoughtfully expressed. But there is one reality that cannot be ignored. At this stage of pregnancy, we no longer are speaking about an early embryo. We are speaking about a viably formed human being, a child who may have only weeks before birth, and who, in many circumstances, could survive if delivered. The issue before us is not whether women facing difficult pregnancies deserve compassion, because they do. They deserve every support, every resource and every standard of medical care that this state can provide. Nor is the issue whether tragic and heartbreaking circumstances can arise. They can and they do. The question before us is whether our law should be recognised that as a child develops and approaches birth, society's obligations also grow. This bill says that they should. It says that when a pregnancy has reached the point where life outside the womb is possible, there should be meaningful safeguards before that life can be intentionally ended. This is not an extreme proposition. It is a proposition grounded in the social justice belief that every human life, including the viable unborn, are worthy and have the dignity and right to survive. Members of this House will cast their votes according to conscience, as they should. But conscience asks something of us. It asks us to consider not only the voices we hear in this chamber, but also those who cannot speak for themselves. At 28 weeks gestation, one South Australian mother received devastating news. Specialists had identified severe ventriculomegaly measuring around 20 millimetres, fetal growth restriction and an absent cavum septum pellucidum. The prognosis was grim. The family was told their unborn baby had less than a 2% chance at survival or a normal outcome, and were encouraged to terminate their baby. Importantly, there was no risk to the life of the mother. The recommendation was based on the predicted outcome for the baby. The specialist was asked if any families ever go through with this. The answer was no. A piece of paper was given to sign off on an abortion. We'll put a syringe in the baby's heart and we will inject potassium chloride, and that way the baby will be delivered dead. The family chose life. Today that baby is 7 years old. She's completely healthy, normal, excelling at school and a champion gymnast. An assessment conducted through the neonatal intensive care program found the child was meeting a developmental milestones, had no concerns regarding hearing or vision, was socially engaged, active and thriving. Had this child been aborted at 28 weeks based on our prognosis alone, an incredible life would have been lost. A future filled with joy, achievement and potential would have never existed. I stand here today able to tell this story because I refused to give up on my daughter when others believed there was little hope. My daughter is living proof that predictions are not certainties. She is proof that behind every diagnosis is a human life with value, dignity and unlimited potential. She is proof that sometimes the experts get it wrong and that hope should never be discarded. The lesson is simple. Where there is life, there is hope. Every life deserves the opportunity to prove the statistics wrong. History will remember this debate, and the state and the nation are watching tonight. Whether we choose to extend greater protection for viable children in the final stages of pregnancy, whether we recognise their humanity, whether we believe their lives were worthy of legal protection, today each of us must answer those questions. This bill is not a trade-off of human life or rights. It is an advocation to save both, to preserve both, where possible, where viable. And if not, emergency intervention and medical discretion still applies. This bill represents a compassionate, measured, principled step towards protecting the most vulnerable members of the family. Each member must search within themselves after examining the bill that this bill saves lives and not at the cost of care where needed. For that reason, I commend the bill to the House and urge members to support it.
The question before the chair is the bill now be read a second time. All those in favour say aye. Those opposed say no. I call it for the ayes. Clerk. Oh. Division has been called. Ring the bells. I call it for the ayes.
This is so good.
Okay, guys.
All right, so we wanted that division to be called because if they didn't call a division, we just wouldn't have been able to find out who was voting where. We wouldn't have been able to have the baby killers exposed. So now everybody's got to come to the parliament. The bell's being rung. There's 4 minutes. And so you'll hear from the voices. So they do the initial vote on the voices. So I'm getting so excited, but the initial vote is on the voices, and that could have been where it was left, but we had been texting politicians all night to say you have to call for a division because it was just on the voices. We wouldn't know. Yeah.
It's only in South Australia we do that.
Yeah.
Every other state, the voices get counted as well on Hansard, but in South Australia we have this unique case where those voices aren't recorded.
But did you hear there was about 4 of them that yelled, I call for a division? I think it was like Sam, Jason, Chantal.
Good.
Yeah.
And you only need one, by the way.
Yeah.
And there's like 6 or 7 major policies that were put through in South Australia Parliament without any division called.
Yeah, wow.
It's really
Yeah,
scandalous.
apparently gay conversion therapy, there was not a division
there was
called.
no division called,
Why did no one call it a division? So to ban prayer around, like, it's your child that might be gay.
And so can you just explain why a division is called? Is it so that you can have an accurate count of the numbers? Or is it so that, okay.
So if you heard the voices then, the people that were against the bill, there seemed to be more voices. And so you could have just gone on that because she said, I think the I think the nays have it. I think that's what Nat Cook said. And then people jumped up and said, no, we want a division. And so now the bells are ringing. Everyone's going to have to come in.
Yeah, but they get up
and they're
and
going to have to
choose a
vote. Now, what's going to be interesting is not everybody from Labor will probably come in. Some of them are very worried about their marginal seats up north, near Elizabeth Way. We talked about that at the rally tonight. One Nation is a legit threat for some of those seats. Even Gawler is that One Nation could take that seat. So some of those Labor members of Parliament may not turn up to vote.
I say that we just call them a no vote.
Yeah, I agree. That's
pretty simple.
Yeah, it's pretty clear.
Yeah, we will put them in the Baby Killers Club, and we say if you didn't turn up to vote for the babies, you're a no.
Yeah.
Like, we're not going to be fooled by that. We're not fooled by this
If you can't
30
make the
trick.
effort, then it's a clear no.
And so what's going to be interesting is where's Peter Malinauskas going to go? I think he's
So-called
got.
Catholic.
Yeah, I think he will vote for the bill. He'll vote against.
he'll-
No, I think he'll vote against late-term abortion. But that's always been phony Pete. Like, he straddles that line of like, oh, I'm on your side, and then he gets a gold star from ACL. But then underhand, he's just screwing us over at every turn, like he did tonight.
Yeah.
But I'm not worried about tonight. I do feel like this is a massive victory, and I feel like we're getting on the record now. Like, we could have campaigned for 6 months to then have this voted on in November. But now we just know who we can target. So
Yeah.
they've done us a favour.
Oh,
It's a
100%.
massive favour.
Any data,
Yeah.
there's a saying that truth always wins.
Yeah.
So now the truth will be coming
Yeah,
out.
I
and
love this.
This is exactly what we
And
need.
so many people also said to me, you might get it through the upper house, Joe, but there's no way they're ever going to get it to a debate. I think Tom Kenyon said to me, like with euthanasia, they batted that away for years because they just didn't want it in the lower house. But we've got this in the lower house. We've got a debate tonight. We've got them on the record.
They did a
Oh,
division. It's so. There's so many on the
So
other
many
side.
baby killers.
Yeah. Oh man, it's just scum of the earth.
So many baby killers.
The ayes have moved to the right of the chair.
Absolute
The noes have moved to
scum.
the left of the chair.
Wow.
Even a baby's crying.
The member for Narungga, the teller for the ayes, and the member for Raynell, Minister for Conservative.
Trust Katrine.
For the noes.
Katrine would, of course, be the lead captain of the baby killers. Are we on live? Can they
We're
hear us?
no, they can hear us.
Okay, yeah. So you can see that there's a lot of baby killers in the parliament. So the teller means they're the person that does the vote. So lead baby killer captain is Katrine Hildyard, and lead baby saver captain is Chantel Thomas. And so they have the job of counting the people on their side. You can see the baby killer ranks are really full over there.
And there's one baby killer's actually got a baby, does she?
What? In the parliament?
No, I think there's a baby in the
There's
chamber.
babies in the chamber. I can hear babies crying.
Yeah.
Who let these babies in the chamber?
Yeah.
Is that the
It's
bill be
awkward
read a
when you're
second
trying to kill
time.
them, voting to kill
For
them.
the ayes, there are 9, and for the noes, there are 36. I call
36 for the nose.
So 36-9.
Yeah.
Mountain to climb in the
Yeah.
lower house.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We can talk about these people now.
Okay, let me.
All right. Yeah.
Thank you.
Still devastating to know that we've got people evil enough to actively vote for feticide in the third trimester. That is really shocking. Every time I see it, it still gets me. Like Ben Hood's bill a couple of years ago was about saving babies after 28 weeks. And in that bill, we even wrote that the woman could terminate a pregnancy. She just couldn't kill the child first. And yet that bill still lost by 1 vote. So I just get shocked every time I see evil in the face like this. And it is, it's hard to take. But I've got to say, for me, this was a massive victory tonight. Like, I just can't, this doesn't deflate me. I knew we had this challenge. We knew that we had this mountain to climb. We knew it was going to be hard.
At least we got a challenge now with real human faces.
Yeah.
And we know who is going to receive the full force of our wrath. And it's not going to be everyone, but everyone who is in a marginal seat with One Nation breathing down their neck.
We're coming.
We are taking them down.
Yeah.
And it's that simple. And we've got a long time to do it, and we're not going to stop.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
And
if you sat on the wrong side of the chamber tonight, you should be looking over your shoulder, because we are coming for your seat.
Yeah. And did you see that crowd tonight in the rain? Massive crowd in the rain. The movement's growing. You know, it's just, when I think about when we started this, like, this is just, there's no way that we're not going to be passing these bills. Like, I think it took us 3 attempts to get here. I reckon 3 attempts in the lower house and we passed this bill.
Yep.
Like, and then the thing is, when we passed that first bill through both houses, that's a breakthrough moment that will reverberate nationwide. Because these guys are giving speeches about how the sky is going to fall in, all these women are going to be, you know, in severe circumstances, there's unintended consequences, you know. But it's really just not true, because a woman who has a mental health crisis in late in pregnancy, she could deliver that baby alive, and that baby could be placed for adoption.
Which is a huge demand.
Yeah, you don't have to do feticide first.
Yeah.
You could do early delivery.
There's an insistence on the killing aspect, which is the real bother.
Yeah.
You know, that's the real sad
That's
thing about
true.
all this. You don't have to do the killing, but
Yeah.
they're obsessed with the killing
They
part.
love it. They
It's
love
very
it.
demonic, almost.
Yeah. That other guy, who was that guy who spoke just before Chantel?
Oh,
One
I'm
of these-
sorry.
One of these guys.
That,
he was,
all the baby
yeah.
killers mould in one.
Oh, mate, that guy
forget
was
his
such a piece of work.
I
But
think his name was called Tim Wetrock. I know you're going to have fun with that name.
Let's see.
Tim Wetrock. That's what. Whetstone.
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 Yeah, Whetstone. Yeah.
That's the team on the chat making
He's
some
been
funny
he's
jokes.
been a member of Parliament for a very long time as well, the Whetstone. So,
yeah, Whetstone.
Really?
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the way he kept on saying, if it comes down to an ideologue or a doctor, I'm trusting the doctor, not the ideologue.
Yeah.
It's like, well, hang on, we're talking here about a moral issue, and you think that a doctor is an expert on morality? Like, where do you get your world? Like, why do you think that? That's a really weird view to have.
And not just
honestly.
that, didn't they learn anything from the 2020 pandemic? We literally had the issue where there was an appeal to authority and it completely backfired. They told us that those products will stop the spread. It didn't stop the spread. They were lying to us continuously over and over and over again. We were told to trust the science, and the science was wrong. Science historically gets stuff a lot wrong, and then we have to readjust. And that's the beauty of science. We get to ask questions.
Yeah, and doctors are there as experts to know how to restore your health. They're not experts in morality. I mean, they're no more an expert in morality than anyone.
Yeah.
They're not. Like, yeah, okay, just because they wear a stethoscope around their neck and you trust them to save your life, that doesn't mean that you trust them to make moral decisions around what life can be taken, what life can't be taken.
Yeah.
Like, you go back to World War II, you look at how doctors behaved. There were Japanese doctors who were freezing people's limbs and then
And smashing
shattering them with hammers to see how the limbs would shatter. I mean, doctors have absolutely no special moral expertise at all. Like, people like this guy, honestly, like, they're like, honestly, a lot of these politicians behave like children. They really do. Like, they have no ability to judge good and evil. They have no understanding of how to think. They have no philosophical capacity. They're like children, man.
Yeah.
It's really pathetic to watch. Like, that our parliament, honestly, especially in the lower house now, is just full of really bad people. Like, these people are absolute scum. They just are, just the scum of the earth. And to be honest with you, the Premier is no different.
Yeah.
The experiment of secularism has failed Australia. I honestly think now, looking at this, knowing the statistics that Ali mentioned later and been talking about, this is the greatest evil we've ever seen in human history.
Ali, did you want to come? Ali's filming over there, but I reckon come into the live stream, and we might as well get Elspeth McKellar. Can we? Do you want to come in? No, you come too. Can we fit? I think. Can you sit up here, Els?
I can make this bigger,
Yeah.
and we can all sit together.
All right. So let's come here. Sorry, do you mind? Yeah. Can we squeeze?
Yep. let's all
And can we
squeeze.
still
I
fit
can
in,
read
Ali?
some comments
All
out as well. Actually, guys, if you have some questions for the team here,
That is
I've got a
live.
modesty cover for Elsa.
I'll do it.
sorry. So, guys, got any questions for the team here?
No, she's all right. She's actually okay.
18 rated.
No, here we are. So we've got the amazing Elspeth McKellar, and the gang is here. All of us, Ali's back.
So we got some comments. So someone's asked, doctors are trained, bought and controlled by Big Pharma. Alice Rolls voted against the life of the unborn baby. Maybe people will believe it when they see the video. And then someone said, someone's criticised, James, none of what you said is true. Doctors are bound by moral reasoning. Clearly, nobody in this room has completed a medical degree. You're talking about the Hippocratic Oath, but we did see in the pandemic, the Hippocratic Oath was broken many times, and we did see the implementation of mandates, which goes against the Hippocratic Oath in every sense of the way.
Why do we need a medical degree to determine, like, we should not be leaving moral judgments about whether someone gets to live or die to a doctor. That is not the place for doctors.
Viable late-term babies. Perfectly viable late-term babies.
Not to mention there's a whole bunch of doctors that are completely against this.
Yeah.
So they're against this.
Yeah, and while I'm on the subject to this dipshit here in the comment section.
Don't get really angry at least he watched.
Sorry.
No, but that's good. He's open, or she.
No, what did he say?
He said, "Oh, James, none of what you said is true. Doctors are bound by moral reasoning. Clearly, nobody in this room has completed a medical degree."
Okay, just to respond to this dipshit here in the comment section. The Hippocratic
Watch
Oath.
the live stream.
I don't care. The Hippocratic Oath that this person is referencing here actually has a line which says where the person promises that they will not give a tincture or a procedure to bring about an abortion. And so they like the morality that doctors have always been bound by has been completely thrown out the window in recent years. And so what morality are we talking about here that doctors are so like bound by? They don't seem to have any moral standards at all. If you can kill a human being, an innocent human being who's done nothing to deserve that death, then you're no better than a frickin' guy who's operating a gas chamber in Nazi Germany. Like, it's the same thing. And so what moral standard are you actually talking about here? Sorry, but like, honestly, like, what is your moral standard that you think that these doctors are bound by that allows them to do that? Because I'm not seeing one.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything more evil in my entire life. So I don't know what this person's even talking about.
Yeah. But I will say at least they're open enough to watch something that they don't agree with. They might, I mean, like, I think that but I agree with you. Like, we should not be outsourcing morality to doctors.
Just to back up James
sorry,
here.
I struggle to have patience with that level of like naivety. If that's, at best, that's what that is.
And just to back up James, the medical industry has been shown to become skewed by the business model. The business model has put profits over people's health. And we see that even with private healthcare versus public healthcare. It's documented that some private healthcare providers will use cheaper products to maximize their profits.
It's assuming also that the person who is a doctor is actually committing and upholding the oath that they take. So, for example, there was a recent story, I think it was in Florida. There was this doctor who did this heart transplant or this heart surgery on this child, but had reversed the heart valve intentionally, knowing that that child was going to die so they could harvest the organ of that child or sell it on the black market. So there's things that happen within the medical industry that don't comply to that. So again, it's what you're trying to talk about is there's a naivety. It's like, yes, ideally that'd be the case, but we're talking about killing babies, so doesn't that automatically break the oath? So anyway.
Yeah, and that's the classic left tactic is the appeal to authority. And just so you guys know, this is important. In China this year and last year, they're starting to introduce policy now that if you have a social media channel, you're only allowed to talk about topics that you have an academic degree on moving forward in China. That's what's being, and that will come to the West soon.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I don't know who to give the mic to. Yeah, look, I think to bring this back, so that number that's the 37.9, I think, or 36 or 37.9. So that is a massive.
Nine's actually that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's quite promising, to be honest. Nine's a good number. It's very lucky.
I'm shocked by how evil people are. That like you've got, triple the amount of people on the, and it's more than that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Someone do the maths. Like so many people on the other side into injecting
27.
babies with poison. I think people need to be aware that there's never a medically necessary reason for a late-term abortion. So if there is a risk to the mother's life, or if her life is being threatened, she might not even be an immediate risk, but there's serious threats, they can do an emergency cesarean to remove the baby out early. And they don't bother doing feticide because that process takes 72 hours, that injection of potassium chloride and then the delivery. So this is never medically necessary. We didn't hear that tonight from all those people. And pretty much every pro-abortion speech, they didn't say the word baby. You were in the parliament, weren't you, watching it? What was your take watching from the gallery?
Just quickly, this is important, guys. It's a super chat. Someone's given us money, and we'll give him donated $20. So thank you, Dr. Howell, for your courage, persistence, and the voice for the voiceless. History is being made tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to buy some more dumplings. I was eating dumplings on the live stream before.
It ended up all over her.
Yeah, Ali.
I tried to offer the dumplings, and then the chopstick flipped, and then the dumpling sauce went all over. That's why she's wearing my t-shirt.
Yeah.
Now.
I'd come out from the gallery to come and start doing some editing from the rally, and I'm sitting on the floor, and then next minute, I've got my headphones on. Next minute, there's a bowl of dumplings in my. Anyway.
Hopefully you guys can get a bit of an inside sense of like the things that we go through in order to save these babies. We have like dumpling attacks from Ali. Elsie had to change her T-shirt. We've got all sorts of stuff.
Not to mention how squashed we are on this couch, just so we can all fit in
No,
together.
but like seriously, on a really serious
What was the
note,
Parliament
it was
like?
really dark in there.
Yeah.
It was really dark. You had just before when we came in, there was like all of the orange T-shirt people, like Taylor Jane, Barbara Baird, whatever her name.
Oh,
They were
yeah,
there. And I was
yeah.
like, we were standing like shoulder to shoulder with them, waiting to go in.
Wow.
And that was definitely weird. They were like kind of scowling at us and, you know, whispering to one another. And anyway, we went in separated, and you could see them down there. Like, yeah, it's just a really surreal experience to be in that room.
Wow.
Yeah. And just to feel the energy of the different like people and the different movements and the whispers from different politicians and. Yeah, and this is like the tension from everyone just watching it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so intense. And
Was the
just,
outside well represented? Like, did we have people in there?
We had heaps of people.
Yeah. I think mostly, I actually think the whole upper gallery was all our side.
Yeah.
I think all of the pro-abortion people were down below. They kind of like went with. Oh, Tammy Franks came in.
Wow. So a quick
A relic from a bygone era.
Yeah, I mean, she's someone that we've met. 3 of the most seriously aggressive baby killers from the upper house. We managed to work to boot them out in the most recent election. They've now been replaced with 3 amazing baby savers through One Nation, and that's why the bill passed in the upper house tonight. So, you know, yeah. I've just received word. So out of that 9, we actually had the opposition leader, Ashton Hearn, and the Premier, Peter Malinauskas, and then Tom Coots, Sam Telfer, and the For One Nation. So, like, that's actually
That's kinda-
look. That's
okay. That's kinda
positive.
cool.
That
I mean, that's
tells
the
me
leaders.
no, but that. Well, yeah, but that's because he's trying to pretend.
Don't give him
Don't give him any credit.
He's a
Yeah,
faker.
faker.
Yeah,
Phony
faker.
Pete. Phony Pete.
give a little bit of credit.
No credit. Don't. George gets 0 credit.
Cut this man's mic.
Yeah.
No, well, just
It's gone.
Yeah, all I've ever heard is he's a dirty liar and he's controlling everyone. He plays stupid games, and clearly that's what we've seen tonight.
yeah, look, at the end of the day,
Now we're going to get sued for defamation.
I said it's all I've ever heard.
Yeah.
It's all I've heard.
Allegedly.
Let George have his say.
no, I think it's important.
Okay,
because
so
I'm
George,
not,
please
I'm
tell
not
us
on
why there
Team
is-
Mally, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, if you're a man of your word and you're a politician and you vote the way you vote, that's who you are as a person.
No, George. Okay.
There's party
No,
politics.
that's
remember,
fine.
because in the realm of you remember that room in there is a game.
Yeah,
and they're
this is a
playing
game to
You say your
Malinauskas.
thing.
Yeah,
You say
and
your thing.
for
and then
him,
You say your thing,
remember,
which is
if
totally
this
wrong.
premier wants to be prime minister one day, which he wants to be, he has to play his game. So this is a selfish. I'm not saying it's not selfish. No one's not saying that. He wants to be prime minister one day. He has to play the game, and that looks like Labor people are a cult. They behave in a cultish way, and they will do everything they can to protect their cult. Where the Liberal Party haven't had that for a long time. They're so disjointed, and they're famous for their factional behaviour.
Well, we need a right-wing cult. Hopefully that's One Nation.
Well, that's
Yeah.
where One Nation now comes in. So it's the same thing for One Nation now. Like if a One Nation candidate goes against the grain, they're treated and booted out, just like the Labor Party do. It's actually one of the reasons the Labor has had such power in the state.
Okay, yeah.
What point are you trying to make?
My point is
About
that
Phony Pete.
this premier will always act in self-interest to get the position of prime minister one day. That's his true intention. So him voting for this is something he probably wants to do, but also the games he's playing behind the scenes is so he can maintain his position as prime minister one day.
Okay, so
But what's your point? Like,
Well,
we know all that already. What point are you making?
many people at home, I assume, wouldn't put those things together. So I just want to make sure it's
but
clear
George,
on that.
we're not ascribing any kind of like goodness in what
No,
Mally's done.
no. It's
You're
just an
not.
understanding of the tactics.
Yeah.
Because
I
when
think
you understand,
we're on the same page. If
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
about tactic, yeah.
If you can understand the strategy, it will help people.
Because
remember, a lot of people at
Malinauskas-
home are relying on us to explain these things to them because they
I know, but I want to be really clear with everybody at home. Peter Malinauskas is not a friend of the baby savers.
No,
you know,
no,
like,
but he-
because he leads a party of baby killers.
Exactly, yeah.
And the reason he rushed this through tonight is because he didn't want to debate in the community about this.
Yeah.
And right from the beginning with Ben Hood's bill and Sarah Games' bill last year, he's been nothing but negative. What he does is he records his vote in the baby savers tick box,
Yeah.
knowing that the bill is going to fail. That he does that every
Well,
time.
not just knowing that it's going to fail, knowing that he's done everything he can to make sure that it fails.
Yeah.
Like he does everything he can to try and kill it in the upper house, and then if somehow it makes it through the upper house like it did this time, because things are starting to change now, then he does what he has to do to make sure that it fails in the lower house.
Yeah.
This scumbag is killing babies at every step along the journey. The only thing that I give him credit for is being a good strategist.
Yeah.
But I could give Hitler credit for that.
Yeah.
So well, what's that? What do you get? Like, so you
If
know,
this-
you're a good strategist at being what? An evil prick? Like,
He is the one that we can hold responsible for tonight, though, for the
Yes,
the
he's the
lower
leader.
house debate. Yeah, so if he's responsible for that, like he's in the Baby Killers Club.
Yeah,
that's how we understand it.
Yeah, it's this is no one's fooled by this. I mean, I think Labor. So just also another backstory.
Yeah.
When Bill Shorten went for Prime Minister against, was it Scott Morrison? And everyone expected Labor to win, that was the polling. But they took to the polls a policy that public hospitals should have to perform abortions. And they lost the unlosable election, Morrison won. And the Jay Weatherill review at the end of that said, they looked at why did Labor lose that election federally? And one of the top 3 reasons was they lost the Christian vote, they went too extreme on abortion. Malinauskas knows that. Labor now knows that. Labor's response was to reach out to faith communities, do all these photo ops with Christians, try and get on the Catholic Weekly. You know, Malinauskas knows that if he wants to lead the country one day, he has to present as a centrist, when in reality, as James has said, he operates as a leftist by killing all of our bills to save babies. Like, this is a very moderate bill. Like, nearly every other country in the world bans feticide in the 3rd trimester. We are so extreme to be doing this, and Malinauskas pushes it away for like does everything he can to make sure we don't. And you see it tonight with the dirty trick. But the thing is, that dirty trick, like, I honestly think that works in our favour. I'm really quite pleased that we've had these people exposed. We've had this flashed out. It's really flashed out Mally. I think he looks desperate. The minute I saw the headline in the Advertiser that he was forcing a vote tonight, and his reason that he gave the Advertiser, was because I want the Parliament to focus on the things that matter.
Yeah.
I mean, it just really showed he threw the babies under the bus, and he does not care about the cost, the human cost, and the lives that are lost in order to pursue power. Like, that's Peter Malinauskas.
Just quickly, we've got another super chat. Go Joe, seriously, thank you for everything you do. $20 from Photo Ops on Peninsula. Thank you very much for the donation
Thank you,
there.
guys. The Howe family's going to be,
Dumplinged up.
Yeah, a lot of dumpling.
Yeah, a lot of.
But yeah, just to be clear on my position on that, I'm just saying the Labor Party are masters of tactics, and this is one of their tactics we're seeing. So
And the Liberal Party, what's the opposite of masters of tactics? Like,
they're the
just so special, honestly, the Liberal Party.
the Liberal Party
my
are the
God.
master of knowing how not to do tactics.
Yeah.
But that's the problem with the Liberal Party model has broken, and we kind of discussed this earlier. The broad church concept only worked when you have a Christian majority country, and now we only have 30-40%. It's not going to work. The Liberal Party either have to completely reform their constitution or completely reform their entire way of doing things, or they're not going to survive another 10 years.
Yeah.
Oh, you cannot have leftists inside your Conservative Party just destroying you from the inside out.
people like Jack Batty, Michelle Lenzik in the upper house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a suspicion it's too late for the Liberal Party. I don't know if they can be salvaged.
We'll see.
Yeah. There's just there's too much darnel in the wheat. There's too many psychotic, radical, far left leftists. Like, we're talking people who should be in the Greens.
And the problem is, you
honestly.
get rid of them, more just spawn. It's like that Hydra. You cut one head off, and then more just come in and come back into. It's like an impossible. That's the problem with this. Their current model, it doesn't allow a gate to stop them coming in. You cut another head, another head will spawn.
And I think Pauline Hanson, so Wes Fang, who's a leftist from the Nationals, he was placed low down on the ticket for the Nats. So he's approached Pauline and said, can I be on your ticket for One Nation? Because One Nation is going to get seats in the next election in New South Wales. They're doing so well. And she just said, no, I don't want leftists. I don't want fake Conservatives in my party. Good on her. This is a guy that votes for abortion. And so she is making an effort, and I've heard this from Carlos Quaramba, the state president of One Nation South Australia, no factions in One Nation. And you saw that tonight. They voted as a team. Jason Virgo had called me earlier in the day and said, we're voting as a team. And they were the only party to vote in a consistent way universally tonight. Labor and Libs voted for abortion. Like there were people in there. So also tonight. So I just want to say two history-making things today. So one is obviously the passage of the first ever pro-life bill through a House of Parliament in Australian history. That's amazing. Like I just cannot say how stoked we are that has happened. That is huge. And the press will spin this as a loss, like, oh my gosh, you lost 37-9 in the lower house. We always knew we were going to lose in the lower house, so we're just grateful that that's come on early. But then the second history-making moment is just that Pauline spoke at the National Press Club today. She's never been invited to speak at the National Press Club, and she spoke up and said we should ban abortion after 20 weeks. That is the headline in the Australian. It's not a very professional way of showing people, but
didn't some protesters crash?
They did. Yes.
Yes, I only saw some video clips earlier where you had some radical lefties, I think, rip posters down.
Yeah.
But we've been filming all day, so we haven't seen much of that.
I did quickly look at that.
I saw that too.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are commenting, like Senator Babette, if protesters could have set up such an elaborate, because the posters actually came down apparently 10 minutes into the speech. You know, where's the safety? Like that could have been a bomb. Like they were clearly able to set something up like that.
In an age of post-Charlie Kirk assassination, I think everyone on the right needs to have this at least in the back of their mind. Like anyone talking about this kind of stuff, they have to.
No, they have to be. The problem is...
No, but we can't live in fear.
No, I don't want to kill you, Dr. Joe.
But there's one level
No,
of
I'm not listening to you because... no, I'm serious, because I refuse to live in fear, because if we live... Yeah,
That's
There's one thing, living in fear is one thing, being stupid is another thing. And I think just a matter of just like, okay, just be conscious that there are people who are in society that want to and are ready and are willing to kill people they disagree with.
Okay, so what am I going to do about that? Like, I'm this tiny Indian woman. Like, how am I going to... should I take, like, Taekwondo classes? Or... the reality is, if I'm going to die for this, I'm going to die for this. And I will die for this because I believe in this.
But even the greatest Christian kings had people eat their food first. So you do need good soldiers, and people are willing to put their life on the line for you. So...
I reckon I hammered about 12 of those dumplings, so I'm pretty sure they're good.
Yeah, they're good.
You might want to wait one more hour before you dig in, but so far, yeah.
But the point is...
Can we just come back to this? Because
I taste the food, not eat all of it.
Can we just come back to this? Because I was just reading that on your lap, being like freaking shocked. I was like, am I reading that right?
Yeah,
like,
it's a headline in
Pauline
this-
Hanson
yeah.
just said that today?
Yeah, amazing.
Like, while we're doing this, while this is happening and we're getting a win, Pauline Hanson is saying, I want to ban abortions after 20 weeks. Like,
in the National Press Club.
Someone who's polling higher than the Labor Party right now.
Like that, I mean, that's like incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like really exciting stuff.
Yeah, amazing.
I think we're on the cusp of a major kind of turn of the culture. I think young boys, particularly in Australia, are the most right-wing they've ever been.
Good.
You know about this kind of stuff? So younger generations are seeing through a lot of the kind of boomer narratives, the kind of postmodernist narratives. Human beings are a virus, mass migration's always a good thing. And I think Pauline Hanson's come at the right time, and it just depends on who she's surrounding herself with.
And just to touch on something Joanna talked about, the first point she made about the historical relevance of this. So the history has shown, I talked about the eugenics movement in the 1920s. What stopped the eugenics movement in the 1920s? What stopped humans from Planned Parenthood? What stopped us from having human zoos in New York City? It was the Catholic movement in the 1930s that rose up in America. The Catholic movement rose up, and it was a stand saying, no, all life is equal. We cannot end life just because they're African American. And that's what caused the change, to remove eugenics from the academic fields that we all appreciate. And I'm talking about Yale, Harvard, all these grand institutions were promoting eugenics in the 1920s, before even Hitler was. This was in America.
Yeah.
And that was the reason we commercialized abortion was for eugenics. And that was defeated by brave Christians getting up and saying enough is enough. And today we're seeing that. We're seeing politicians for the first time coming out saying, Bradley, that they're Christian.
What do you think, James, about the fear thing? Elsie, just so you know, Lola's calling. Maybe bring her up. Okay. Yeah. We're just trying to some of the other Bird Flip girls are coming back up now.
You guys want to squeeze over a bit?
You feeling squashed there, George?
Really cozy there, mate.
I'm still cozy.
What do you think, James, about Ali's point about the... I feel like I've got to cheekily paraphrase you, like that we should all be cognizant of the fact that we might get killed for this.
Oh, look, Ali's right. I mean, like the left are a bunch of absolute psychos. I must say, like I sometimes I feel more wary, I guess, doing this kind of work than I otherwise would be, because there's a lot of people who feel just as rabid and passionate about killing babies as we feel about saving them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now we would never murder someone because we're not murderers, but they are.
Yeah.
They're a bunch of baby killers. What's going to stop them from trying to?
Ali, we've had death threats and some rape threats, and some of them have even mentioned the children's names. But I've got to say, I just have this unshakable faith that all will be well. Like, I just do. I feel like we're called to end this. We're going to end this. It's going to happen. And in fact, like, one of my children, my daughter, said to me, "Mum, I used to be worried that you would die." You know, this is before I got into this work. She said, "I was worried that you would die, but then, and I was worried Dad would die, but now I know that you're not going to die because you've been called to end abortion, and God knows that you can't do it without Dad, so neither of you are going to die." There you go.
Christ had a mission, he died too.
Yeah.
So I only say that not to give you guys a dreary
Charlie
thing.
Kirk had a mission.
No, so
You're such a buzzkill, Ali.
all I'm saying is that in the context of Pauline Hanson, I'd be if I was her security team, I'd be focusing heavily on this because she has a mission.
Yeah.
But one of those missions is not only the abortion thing, but she's trying to tackle the radical Islamist problem in Australia. Now, if she's trying to boot them out, these people there's a percentage of them that will blow themselves up or will shoot people or will do this kind of stuff. The Bondi attack was only was it 6 months ago?
Yeah,
Something
December.
like that?
Yeah.
So we know that there are Islamists operating in Australia. We know that there are agents of the IRGC. We know there are ISIS operatives. We know there are sleeper cells. And so they position themselves alongside those Marxists. We know that Russia and Iran are hiring teenagers via TikTok to go and target Jewish synagogues, for example, and paying them some money and sending them to a place in the city where the IRGC have left a gun under a brick wall or something, and they'll find them. So these are very real things. And so I don't know if they're concerned about the abortion thing, but the point is, by you aligning with a particular group of people, let's say Pauline Hanson, I don't necessarily think you are, but I think Pauline Hanson is.
She would be.
Yeah.
Well, how many times have they tried to kill Trump now? Was it like getting on for 6 times or something?
And I hate
3
how
times
they
now, yeah.
left.
I think it's more than that.
Well, there's actually news coming out that during the UFC event there was a drone attempt on Donald Trump's life again, but they seized the
And I
opportunity.
hate how they say it's
way
a,
more than 3.
yeah.
I swear it's like that's a 7.
Potentially, it could be a lot, to be honest.
But I
there's-
also hate how they make it sound like a both sides issue, because it's not
Well,
a both sides issue.
no,
come on, George.
there has been 2 killings of Democrats
Yeah,
in the
but
last 2 years.
predominantly this is on the left. Like, this is.
Look, you get radicals on both sides of politics, but predominantly the left, on
violent.
average, seems the most violent. And not just that, they can't handle conversations that lead to some sort of unity. That's the issue.
Yeah.
Like I constantly talk to some of the biggest leftist media names in the entire world, constantly through social media, and they want to do stuff with me, but they can't because they know their base will literally turn on them in a second and destroy all of their life's work. It's disgusting.
All right, we will get you boys back, but can we just kick you two
Yep.
out and get the girls on the couch? You can stay, James, I guess. Or do you want to go? Anna and
What do you
Elsa.
mean? Oh, I can
no.
stay, you guess.
No, because maybe you should go. You take up so much room. You can come back, Lola. If we're speaking, we have to speak with the mic. So, Anna, do you want to come sit here? And Elspeth, we can probably all fit together. Okay, so we've got here Elspeth McKellar from Birdflip, Anna from Birdflip, Anna Harrison, and Lola Papula. They've come from the Parliament of Squashy. Oh my gosh. But these girls are amazing because they are, such passionate baby savers. I really see the world quite dichotomous now, like baby killer, baby saver.
Yeah.
You would have seen that in the Parliament tonight. Tell us what it was like being in the Parliament.
It was intense. It was really hard to kind of come face to face with people trying to justify why this bill should not pass. There was lots of snide comments and remarks, which was honestly quite infuriating. It was tense.
Can you give us some specifics? Like, who stood out for you as the most egregious? What was the worst thing you heard said tonight?
I think I was pretty shocked to hear, I think it's Katrine Hildyard.
Did you know she is like she does cameos at my church at Easter time.
Yeah, but she like wanted to finish off her speech saying, you know, I'm a woman of faith and I'm voting against this bill. I was like, hold on a second. How does that compute in your head? That was really frustrating to listen to.
Clearly faith in the devil, right?
Yeah,
Like, yeah.
Exactly. I'm like, I don't know who you're following, but definitely not Jesus. I can tell you that much.
Yeah,
So
wow.
that was really frustrating to hear her say that.
And was that the first time you've seen a parliamentary debate on abortion? Like you've been there, you've been watching it in the parliament?
Yeah, first time.
Yeah. And has it kind of emboldened you, activated you, made you feel like you want to do... You're already doing a lot, Lola, like with Bird Flip. But, I mean, I know for me in 2024, when I watched it for the first time, I think like it lit a fire in James. We were there together. And, I mean, since then we've been banned, but it lit a fire in us to like, keep going and escalate.
Yeah, 100%. I think, if anything, it highlighted the importance of having sensible, truthful people there, because, to be honest, the amount of people that just went with the herd, crossed the floor, voted against this bill, just kind of showed me that a lot of people just follow the crowd and they succumb to the peer pressure.
Yeah.
So it's,
Okay. It was amazing to see Ashton Hearn vote for the bill. That was good. She's the leader of the opposition. And did anyone who was into abortion, did they say the word baby at all? Because I couldn't see that on the live stream. They seemed to speak in euphemisms and they never mentioned the second.
They did, but everything they said effectively admitted the humanity of the unborn, because, there was one politician, I don't know his name, but he was saying that, we sedate, the babies.
Oh, that was Boyer.
Yeah,
the
which
Minister
again,
for Health,
I don't
apparently.
think that's true, but also, if it's not a human being, why are you sedating it? Why go to the effort? So you've admitted that this is a human being, or that it's something, worth preserving pain from. So it just doesn't make sense. And then all these other people were saying, this is deeply personal and tragic if they come to the heartbreaking decision to terminate. Well, I'm like, why is it heartbreaking if it's not a clump of cells? Again, you're admitting that this is an unborn child. You're not even hiding behind it's a clump of cells argument anymore. And yet you're still sitting there saying that you're not going to protect these babies under the law. So I feel like I was going to throw up. I actually felt viscerally ill just watching these fools speak. So sorry, but it's true, because you're hiding behind euphemisms and you're not making any sense and you're illogical and you can't even debate. And I was just sitting there, and then when they all just marched across and they're scoffing for their votes, I started weeping, because it reminded me of 2019, because I did watch the New South Wales decriminalisation. So it's good, it's a good motivator. It makes you realise I was weeping. I actually had to leave. I walked away and Olga was like, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. So I'm good. It's just when you see,
I know, because after 2024,
this disregard.
So after 2024 we came out to the steps area and we lost by one vote, and I just lost it. And I felt like I had to keep it together because all the supporters were there, but I just couldn't keep it together, and I just cried. And this young girl, I think she was about 11, she just came and hugged me. And but it's really hard seeing evil in the face.
It's so evil.
And then one thing I find hard is they do this evil thing and then they're just all back to normal, smiling.
Literally. Yeah, and I think I was pretty shocked. I don't know the lady's name, but one of the Labor MPs just literally walked across with her child, and I'm like, your child is with you and you've just voted against a bill that would save other children. I just couldn't really wrap my head around how that makes any sense. You're literally there with your child and you're walking across to vote against a bill to save other children. And her child was young. Yeah. I'm like, how does that
And it was
make
all
sense?
the female politicians who opposed the bill who were smiling at the toddler, laughing, and then marching across the room to shut down the bill. And I was like, this doesn't make any sense.
And so the reason for that is it's Emily's list. If you're a woman in the Labor Party now, if you're not in Emily's list, you are so ostracised. I think Claire Scriven might be the only one, maybe Olivia Savas, but they have to subscribe to abortion up to birth without restriction. That's why Emily's list was founded. That's why Peter Malinauskas will never defy the party room on this. This is why he does these things, because he can only rule with the support of Emily's List. So Tony Abbott has called Emily's List the most powerful faction in the Labor Party. And the irony is it's not an official faction. It's not like the left or the right. It actually exists outside of the party, but its goal is to get pro-abortion women, baby killers, into the Labor Party. So when you watched all of those women voting to kill babies tonight, like it's just...
So basically you're just watching strategy just play out.
Yeah.
You know, years of strategy just play out to have a room full of like women like who are gonna sell their souls and cross the floor to kill these babies. It's pretty surreal to sit in a room where that's actually like that those people are right there. Like they're literally the ones making the decision.
A big indictment, I think, on the Australian pro-life movement historically. And we stand on the shoulders of many good men and women that came before us, many people who've done so many good things. But I think one of the key strategic failings of the Australian pro-life movement is that it didn't set up a counter to Emily's List. In America, when Emily's List was set up to get pro-abortion baby killers into the parliament, the pro-lifers set up the Susan B. Anthony List to get pro-life women into the parliament. Susan B. Anthony's been incredibly significant and powerful, and so in America you're seeing a much more like even debate over there.
Balanced,
Well, if anything, it's leaning in our direction over there. Like we've got so many states now with restrictions on abortion. Here, every single state has abortion up to birth for any reason. In the US, I think it's like 15 states have some kind of abortion restriction, and only 8 have abortion up to birth for any reason. So we've got a long way to go, but it was a key strategic mistake that we didn't set up Susan B. Anthony List in 1996 here, something equivalent to that. And I think what we're seeing now, though, is a turnaround where we're getting pro-lifers into active public life, and we're seeing Pauline in bold, and we're seeing all the One Nation MPs. What did you guys think of Chantel?
I think she did a fantastic job. I think she spoke with confidence, she was clear, and she made this as simple as it needs to be. Like there's literally no reason as to why this should be opposed. I thought she did a really good job.
Yeah, she was really bold, and she started bold. And then she even had, is it Mally? Is that his name?
Mally Nascus,
rip into her, and then still at the end was able to be bold.
Oh, Tom Koutsantonis.
Oh, sorry, that guy.
Tom Koutsantonis is Malinowskis' attack dog. He's a funny guy because he's so he actually is against abortion, but he's a strategic political animal. So he goes and does weird things like that. It is strange.
I couldn't really wrap my head around that. I said, what's the point in you making that sort of a comment when you're literally voting for the bill? It was kind of confusing.
It was unkind. It was a bit unkind.
Yeah, I don't think it reflects well on him when he does that stuff. That is the way the Parliament's always been, that people like that have sort of got away with that. But I agree. I think he did that to try and intimidate Chantel. But did you notice her closing speech was even more powerful than her opening? So she was not intimidated. She levelled up.
She's got a rock solid kind of vibe to her.
Yeah, she's for such a time as this woman.
She seems really solid. Yeah. Both mine.
Both likes.
The same one kind of thing. Lola and Anna, what I really want to know is what.
Okay, Mike's everywhere.
I'll let you do
We'll be here with this one.
All right, so guys, what in that moment that the vote happened? What happened? What was the reaction from everyone? Because obviously you had the pro-abortion fans. In the room, and you had you guys there. What happened in that moment?
Yeah. Well, at least for us, we were obviously, pretty rattled by that. And then you had the pro-aborts on the other side, and they were very gleeful, to say the least. I know there was a few few MPs that went over to the end, gave them a hug. Really? They all kind of came out
Taylor
smiling.
Yeah.
It might have been her. I didn't sort of look too much.
I recognised
they looked happy.
The three, at least 3 of the faces I could see in that front row. I was
like some of our main trolls.
I know you.
You're a troll.
You're a troll.
Yeah.
You're Taylor Jane.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Last takeaways, and then I might get James to come and sit down, and we'll close it. So, final thoughts.
I guess, this is obviously a bit of a roadblock, but we're just going to keep on going. And that's what, Chantel said at the end when we spoke to her. This is just one little blip in this whole situation. We're going to keep going. We're not stopping.
Yeah. And you? Oh, sorry.
Honestly, I know that little moment in there feels sad and disappointing, but I am so stoked. I'm on a high because I just think today was epic. And that moment where you came out and you announced that we just made history. Like, I just can't believe I got to be a part of that moment, you
yeah.
know? I can't believe we just got to be a part of that moment. It's making history. Like, it's going to go down June 17th, 2026. History was made, first pro-life bill ever. Like, this is the beginning of the end of the abortion empire today. So I'm so stoked.
Yeah, and a real game changer was your artwork throughout this campaign. You 3 like massive art projects. It was incredible.
6 banners in the end.
Yeah, wow.
I actually, in some of the photos that I've been seeing come up, I've thought that the artwork did actually come out quite well in the photos.
In today's rally, I feel like it looked epic.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to look at, eh?
That baby being injected, I felt like today was your best one. The baby being injected with poison in the heart. That was something George Mamalis from the Adelaide set, who was on the Catch before, he'd been saying that to me from the beginning.
You've been saying it too.
Yeah, well, George had been saying it to me. He'd been saying, Joe, you need a banner with the baby in front of Parliament getting injected, and I was like, oh, that's a lot. But you did it, and it was the right call. And I think the ban feticide campaign. So I think Mally did us a favour tonight by getting this vote early. Like I believe it in my heart so strongly that what the enemy meant for evil is going to be used for good here.
Yeah, tonight felt really like blessed.
Very historic.
It just like
Anna, final thoughts?
I think I'm sad, obviously, and I'm still processing what it was like to experience like that gallery. But there's something really motivating about coming face to face with the evil of the situation. So I'm actually extremely motivated now. Like I feel this new energy because you realise how poorly, some politicians are, leading our country and just not defending the unborn. So I'm very motivated.
Yeah, and maybe people watching now like yourself or others will get into politics because it's what we need. So I feel like this will be very, already things are changing. I feel like this is very mobilising. I think what we should do, because I feel like I should let George and Ali say goodbye to everyone. Maybe we'll just swap out the girls for the boys, but I'd follow Bird Flip. If you're not following Bird Flip, follow Bird Flip. These guys are amazing. Will you guys grab the boys? And then I think we'll call it in about 5 minutes. I don't know if anyone's still watching. If you are, that's amazing.
It's true.
We've been going on for ages. Yeah.
Shout out to Jess if she's there.
Shout out to Jess. Yeah. And Chantal and any of our amazing team.
Team. We love you.
James, sit down, darling. Yeah. All right. I'm just going to ask you final thoughts.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Oh, can I go? You should go that way. Otherwise, I'm too close to George.
We still got anyone here?
Yeah. Is anyone still watching? Can you check?
Yeah, we've got 180 people.
Wow, 180 people.
200 people the whole time.
Okay. Wow.
Pulling the big
Gosh.
numbers.
Yeah, we're going viral. So we are very grateful for all of you for sticking around. And something James said to me was, because when I started the YouTube channel, and it was like so exhausting making those videos, and we had so many technical issues, but James said, like, if people are watching YouTube content, they're watching, 20 to 30 minutes a day, and they're going to get very invested in this. And I have seen that. I met a couple at the rally today who had come down from Melbourne. They are YouTube fans. And I hope that through this YouTube channel, we're really educating and activating a whole lot of people to change. So final thoughts from everyone. Ali?
Well done for everything you guys have been doing. And I'm just so glad that when I was filming you today, it didn't end in tears, because that was a real possibility today. As for this, look, having, 9 people say yes, that's something.
And it's the Premier and the Opposition Leader and every single One Nation MP.
Yes. The future of Australia is looking more and more orange under Pauline Hanson. So, look, I would say overall, this is going way far in the right direction. And so, yes, you had some stupid comments, a lot of hot air, a lot of nonsense, but you got to take the positive here. So I'm going to end it on a positive note.
Yeah,
so.
And you couldn't have imagined that we would be here just 4 years ago when they passed abortion up to birth, 4 to 5 years ago. There was, like, you could not have imagined that we would be here today having passed a pro-life bill through a House of Parliament. Like, that was not on the cards. Yeah. Final thoughts, George?
Yeah, I think my thoughts are this is truly a historic day, and it represents something bigger across all of Australia. It's not a pebble being thrown into a pond, it's literally a boulder hitting this pond and causing waves of energy throughout all of Australia. And this could be the thing that we're all looking for, a real chance to save this nation, to re-engage with our Christian roots, to reinvigorate all of our Christian faith and get involved with the church, get involved with your faith and see the changes it can can make to
You're such
Australia.
an evangelist, George.
Yeah, well, no, look, I've come to the conclusion that secularism has failed Australia. I think this 1970s idea of liberalism and secularism was probably the most disastrous thing for Australia in terms of its economy, its family, its fertility. Every single aspect of Australia has been lost because of secularism. So I don't even think, for the atheists out there listening, because I know you are, because you've been saying it in the comments, you don't even have to be truly a spiritual Christian. You can be a cultural Christian, just like Richard Dawkins, the most famous atheist of modern times. You can appreciate Christianity, you can appreciate the things it does for society, because it will benefit your family long term, even if you don't have the faith there. So that's the message to everyone, is we're seeing a change. And I think tonight, yeah, like Ali just said, like, it was very hard to hold back the tears. I mean, the last time I cried was watching Marley and Me. I didn't even cry at my own wedding. So, you know, this is the closest thing after 4 years of, you know, the first engagement I had was having Joanna upstairs in my grandma's room. We were debating about abortion in this little tiny room, and with no cooler. It was super hot in there as well.
It was a podcast interview.
Yeah, podcast interview. Yeah.
I just thought I should clarify.
Yeah, no, it was in my podcast.
In case my husband's wondering why I'm holed up.
No, you guys will see
George's grandma's house.
Yeah, it's in my. Don't worry, it was my old YouTube studio. But I remember Joanna being so passionate and so compelling, and I was like, because the thing is, people my age, especially millennials, we're like brought up thinking that abortion was like just the thing you do. Like, it's not like a big deal. Like, even our sex ed education for millennials was very like, oh yeah, you just do that and you take the anti-birth pill and you just do the abortion. It's like, oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. And here's your banana and here's your condom. It's like, oh okay, and it's all linked up. So we're really brainwashed to thinking abortion is okay, and you don't even realize it. Like, it's like an echo chamber of thought. And having Joanna there to just be the catalyst and break that entire and shatter that worldview I had was remarkable, and has led to me becoming closer to Christ as well. So I want to thank you for that. But yeah, no, thank you guys for all the support. It's lovely having you all reach out to us. And yeah, and Joanna's right. We don't want to live in fear, but we want to stay cautious. And
no, we don't want to stay cautious.
No,
we're just going for ending abortion.
I was eyeing off every single corner, every single balcony.
I'm not saying fear death. Just that was what I was saying. I was just saying it's happening out there.
No.
And
why even mention that? Okay, we don't need to relitigate.
No, honestly, guys, when you watch your boss get his neck shot off, it is frightening, and it is.
Yeah, I know.
It does change it, and it did take a long time for me to become normal again, and it was just weeks and weeks of death threats. So Joanna is right. You do have to deal with that. But ultimately, what matters more is the work that we've all done together now, and I think that has been the most empowering.
We have to believe that the one who called us to this work, whatever our particular missions and battles are, although I believe everyone's universal battle is to end abortion first and foremost, I think will give us the grace and the means to be able to see it through to completion. All right, darling, do you want to say some final words?
Yeah, look, I was just listening to you guys over there, you bird flippers. Is that what you call them? Plural? I think something like that.
Flappy Bird.
Yeah, that's right. It's better than a burger flipper. And I think someone was just talking about how that, you guys were talking about your feelings a lot, as you'd expect. No, it's great. It's we love hearing about it. And I guess it was like, how do you feel following this thing? And you guys were sort of talking about that, and I guess it just got me thinking about that feelings. I'm not trying to rain on the feelings parade, but just how irrelevant, not your feelings are. I'm not trying, that's not, it's not about, but it's just time and time.
You do know that Tommy the Cowboy is going to cut this up and make you sound like a misogynist.
Shut up. You'll speak when you're spoken to, woman. All right.
We're back, baby. The world's healing.
So good. But I guess the point that I'm trying to get at is win or lose, whether it's raining, whether it's sunny, whether it's been 1 year or 4 years now, but maybe one day it will have been 5 years. We are called to save babies, and it doesn't matter how we're feeling on any given day. Like, you just turn up and you come back and you do it again. That's the way that we're going to end this, is by people just not giving up and not, like, sometimes it's hard to like maintain the passion because you're like, man, you know, I've done this rally like 1 million times. I've done this like letterbox drop 1 million times. I've made this reel 1 million times. How many different ways can I say it's bad to kill a baby? Like, I feel like I feel like I'm going crazy. Yeah. You know what I mean? But you just have to be faithful to the mission rather than to the way that you feel, because that is what you are called to do. Like, that is how we actually are going to finish this. And what you can see is that as time has gone on, even though sometimes you feel like you're being gaslit by this crazy world, the dial is starting to move now. You know what I mean? We now have an upper house that we can pass a bill. And now, like, yeah, sure, it failed in the lower house, but we have so much work ahead of us now to sink our teeth into, and who knows where we are in a couple of years. Far out. With Pauline Hanson on the way up, maybe we pass a bloody federal bill first. Maybe it's a federal bill that bans late-term abortion. And all these little bitches over here in the parliament can piss off because we've just taken the rug out from under their feet. So that'll serve them right, won't it?
And just for everyone at home, the name James comes from the Hebrew name Jacob, which passed through the Greek name, which means supplanter or one who follows. And the people with the name James are associated with leadership, reliability, strength, and wisdom. And I want to think you are living up to your name.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
James the Just.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful.
Nice little breakdown of my name there.
Yeah.
Well, I don't really know how to follow that, George, but I think we should bring this. I think we've got a cake over there and a bottle of wine. I think we should break that open and celebrate everybody, because this has been amazing. Thank you so much to Ali Talbrizi. Follow his YouTube channel. Excellent. Yeah, excellent channel. Sorry, I'm losing my words.
Just go to sleep now.
Yeah, excellent channel. I'm surviving on 2 dumplings. That's all I've had since 11 o'clock this morning. Thank you to George Mamalis from the Adelaide set.
Thank you guys.
We love you, George.
Appreciate that.
And last year this live stream was literally just on my phone as we were driving through Macca's on the way back from the rally, and it was appallingly bad.
Well, yeah.
And then of course, thank you first and foremost to my amazing husband, who. James the Just. And also I should say the girls, Elspeth, Lola and Anna. Yeah, it's just what an incredible thing that our movement is growing, and we've got this team. And I'm just going to say the thing that I always say when I finish shows. I'm going to say, that's today on the Dr. Joe Show. See you everybody. Good night.
Thank you.
Good job.